A massive catastrophe has hit the world. Bloodthirsty zombies are lurking everywhere. This is our side of the story. He should have been living a life of peace with his adorable little sister. But his loyal girl and his best friend were secretly hooking up. Behind his back, they slaughtered his sister as a sacrifice to the god. Moreover, they even stole his family's heirloom medallion, then pushed him to his death, filled with an overwhelming hatred. He was sent back to the time before the catastrophe struck. Not only that, he now wields the incredibly powerful Netherfire, along with the medallion of the great Hell Beast, which imprisons countless ferocious beasts and fallen gods. With such OP power in his hands, he begins his bloody path of vengeance. At the start of the story, in a city, a massive blood moon appeared, casting a gloomy and eerie vibe. A young man collapsed in agony under the red moon, his teeth clenched in excruciating pain. Gloating laughter echoed through the space. It seemed like the whole city was being brutally torn apart at this moment by those demonic monsters. They spared no home. Some people's spirits had been corrupted by the roars of the demons as they closed in on innocent civilians. A man tripped because he was running too fast. He cried out helplessly, "Someone save me!" Others saw him while running, but didn't dare to stop, only managing to shout some encouragement. "Run for it elsewhere." Hayen was taking a brutal kick from Shijun. Green fluid was being poured all over his body. Yalan looked on with excitement and said, "See you in the next life." Shijun quickly joined the fun too. "Sorry, Hodge, but your stuff." The guy held up the medallion, the bloodied, ferocious prison he just snatched from Hayan, and said, "I'm taking all of it." Looking at the two scumbags in front of him, Hayen frowned and whispered, "Xiaoyun." Hearing Hayen's weak call, Shigun had just summoned the power from the medallion. While taunting him, "Your adorable little sister has already been carried off by zombies. Who told her not to hand this medallion over to me?" He flashed a creepy smile and continued, "But her blood is still very useful." Hearing Xiaoyan's despicable actions, Shijun could only growl in helplessness, "You bastard!" By this time, Shijun had successfully awakened his power. Citizens watching from afar cheered in joy. "It's Shijun, the one who possesses the strongest ability of Shen Mingcheng. We're saved." He held Yalan as she threw back a few words. "Don't you love the glow of fire? So just vanish completely in these flames." The demon lunged toward the spirit beast. Summoned from the medallion, they crashed into each other in a fierce struggle. The massive energy caused both the demon and the spirit beast to explode, sinking into a pile of fire. Xiaoyan grit his teeth in pain, telling himself, "If there is a next life, I definitely won't let you guys off the hook." His eyes blazed with a look of pure hatred. Out of nowhere, a voice chuckled softly and said, "Well then, let's start over one more time." His heart began to beat powerfully, as if life was returning to him. The fire in his eyes burned even more intensely. Scene change. Xiaoyan suddenly broke free from the nightmare. He bolted upright, dazed, wondering, what's going on? No injuries and the fire was gone. He began to speculate. Could that voice I heard be real? His phone showed July 1st, 2018. Xiaoyan suddenly spoke up. "I've returned to 3 days before the catastrophe." He stumbled into the bathroom and sighed. Is it really starting all over again? His eyes were still glowing with a flickering flame. Looking at himself in the mirror, Xiaoyan noticed his right eye had turned gold. Was that a remnant of the fire in his eye? From when he was burned to death before, realizing he had a second chance at life, Xiaoyan dressed properly and opened the door to head out. He trudged out of the apartment building, thinking to himself, who would have thought? In 3 days will everything really be destroyed? Inside, lingering thoughts began to flood his mind. When the apocalypse arrives, a massive number of humans will turn into zombies. Bizarre gods will appear. Even though awakeners with special abilities will emerge among humans, they basically won't be able to fight back in time. Cities will turn into purgatory, and humans will turn into demons, fighting over resources just to survive. Xiaoyan furrowed his brows and continued thinking. My girlfriend Yalan and my best friend Shijun didn't hesitate for a second to betray me. Just then the phone in his hand rang. It was Yalan calling. Impatiently, Xiaoyan answered and said, "Hello?" Yalan snapped at him without restraint. "Damn, why did you take so long to pick up?" "Xiaoyan, are you trying to break up or something?" At the same time, Xiaoyan thought with annoyance. Here we go again. Every time something didn't go her way, she'd use breaking up as a threat to control me. Before I would have panicked and rushed to coddle her. Now his voice was calm as he replied, "Sure." On the other end, Yalan said smugly, "Good that you know you're wrong, so—" Suddenly she froze. "Wait, what did you just say?" Without hesitation, Xiaoyan repeated, "I said let's break up. I'm tired of this. I'm done simping for you. Goodbye." With that, he didn't hesitate to hang up first. Having dealt with one nuisance, Xiaoyan quickly began calculating his next plan. Finally, some peace and quiet. Need to make the most of my time and handle the important stuff first. In Yalan's house, she angrily threw her phone onto the bed. "Mother of care?" Yalan's face contorted with rage. She snapped impatiently. "How dare he hang up on me like that?" Shijun, lying on the bed with his arms behind his head smoking, said to her, "You think he found out about us?" Yalan dismissed the idea immediately, as if no way. "That idiot follows me around like a puppy every day. If I tell him to go left, he wouldn't dare go right. There's no way he knows about you and me." Hearing this, he sat up and comforted her. "All right, don't be mad. My old man just texted me. He told me to collect some heirloom antiques with spiritual energy. He said something big is about to go down." She suddenly remembered something and quickly replied, "Antiques. I remember Xia Yan has an ancestral medallion. It's pretty ugly, looks like it's a few hundred years old." Hearing that, Shijun became very interested. He asked where that thing is now. She answered almost instantly. "It's currently with Xia Yan's little sister. Xia is acting crazy right now. When he snaps out of it, he'll naturally come crawling back to me like a dog. When that happens, I'll just tell him to give the medallion to me." Saying so, Shijun couldn't help himself and pinned Yalan back down on the bed. "Sounds good," he said with a cunning smirk. Scene shifts to a different location. Xia Yan went to the school to meet Xia Yun to get an ancient black object. It looked like a summoning medallion. Xia Yun walked out of the school gates and said to Xia Yan with a gentle smile, "Bro, why do you suddenly need this? You even took a cab 30 kilometers just to get here. Aren't you working today?" Then, she stared at her brother's heterochromatic eyes and asked, "What's wrong with your eyes?" Xia Yan didn't answer her, but asked instead, "Xiao Yun, do you trust me?" Hearing her brother's question, she didn't even have to think. She opened her eyes wide and answered with total certainty, "Of course I do." She ran closer to Xia Yan. "We've only had each other to lean on all this time." She paused for a second, hugged Xia Yan tightly, and continued, "I trust you unconditionally. Everything you do is because you want what's best for me." Hearing his sister's words, Xia Yan gave a kind smile, patted her head, and said, "Then go back inside and pack your things, and come home with me." Xia Yun immediately smiled at him and agreed. "Okay, I'll go right now." With that, she turned to walk back toward the school, but didn't forget to tell Xia Yan to wait for her. "See you in 2 hours." Seeing his sister walk away, he quickly called out, "Aren't you going to ask me why?" At her brother's question, Xia Yun smiled and turned back, replying, "Bro, I trust you." After giving her brother that answer, Xia Yun quickly ran back into the school to pack her things while Xia Yan stood there watching her figure, thinking to himself, "This time I will definitely make sure Xiao Yun survives." He looked down at the medallion, resetting his mind as he recalled scenes from the past. Xia Yan kept staring at the medallion, evaluating it in his head. This medallion, something about it feels different than before. Right then, his golden eyes suddenly began to burn with heat. Xia Yan reacted instantly with a cry of pain. As his eye flared with heat, a flame shot out from it, engulfing the medallion, still resting in his hand. The medallion transformed immediately. Amidst the fire, strange ancient scripts began to engrave themselves onto it. The area was enveloped in a flickering light, and a black hole began to manifest, emitting blinding flashes of light as it sucked Xia Yan into another dimension. A few seconds later, he had been transported inside the space within the medallion. Inside the medallion, within, stood an ancient tower bound tightly by crimson chains. Xia Yan was struck with awe at this eerie magical world. What is this place?" Xia Yan stammered. He gazed at the tower shrouded in darkness, where savage beasts were imprisoned. Ferocious creatures known as the Great Wilderness Monsters. These were all demonic spirit beasts. Sensing Xia Yan's arrival, the beasts bared their razor-sharp fangs and approached, looking ready to tear him limb from limb. Xia Yan stared at them, his eyes wide with sheer terror. Every single creature here was absolutely terrifying. But then lightning crackled across the sky. Those bolts of lightning surged down, striking the horde of monsters, forcing them to halt in their tracks. Eyes and mouths were splattered with red syrup. Xia Yan witnessed this scene with utter amazement. His face was filled with confusion and doubt. The lightning from the sky is what suppresses the monsters in the tower. Suddenly a voice echoed through the space, mixed with a mysterious laugh. "Scared already?" Right in front of Xia Yan, a face appeared with sharp fangs and a subtle smirk. When Xia Yan startled and looked back, he saw the arrival of a beautiful girl with white hair standing there. He wondered, "Who are you?" The girl appeared amidst colorful lights, complete with a fox tail and fox ears. She spoke, introducing herself to Xia Yan. "I am Sudaji. Greetings to the warden of the Grand Hell Tower." Above the towering clouds, massive towers radiated a divine aura. Tens of thousands of years ago, the celestial emperor summoned the 12 high immortals, Bai Taisheng, the 3 purities Guanyin, Fuxi and Xuanu to forge this demon suppression tower. In another place shrouded in darkness, where lightning strikes continuously, lies this very grand hell. Throughout the ages, countless vicious beasts and fallen gods who committed heinous crimes have been imprisoned here. Every day they suffer agony, their souls scorched by heavenly thunder. Daji chuckled and said, The Grand Hell Amnesty Medallion that you are holding in your hand is the only key that can open the gate. Cheyenne looked at the item in his hand. So this is why you called me the warden? She pointed upward. Well then, my lord, would you like to go in and see your prisoners? For more details, this humble servant will report to you as we tour. What do you say? He looked down at the medallion. All right. Then Jiayun walked toward the massive gates. His face was filled with determination. Suddenly, streaks of light appeared before him. Seeing this, Daji screamed, "Watch out!" Jiayun's gaze didn't waver for a second. Rays of protective light shot out from his eyes. The surroundings instantly vanished. So Daji ran over. "That's so badass," she said. "Warden, as expected, you have the nether fire in your eyes. That's why you could reopen the netherworld and come back to life, right?" Cheyenne grabbed Daji's raised arm. "In my past life, weren't you the one whispering in my ear?" Daji gave a seductive smile, gently brushing her hair back. Hee, this humble servant has a deep fate with the Jia family. As the spirit guide of the Grand Hell, of course I wouldn't want to see you framed by others. Your despair and fury, before your death in your past life, helped awaken your supernatural ability, activating the nether fire. I was just going with the flow." Xiayan looked down at the fire blazing in his hand. He thought, so this is why I was reborn. Now, the apocalypse is here and I've already awakened this power. Then he looked up. This time everything is different. He spoke to her with a stern face. "Lead the way." Daji softly replied, "Yes, Warden." The two entered a dark dimension. The Grand Hell is divided into 5 levels. With your current soul power, Warden, the hell gates that you can illuminate are the only limits you can set foot in. The higher you go, the stronger the prisoners are. Your soul power must be strengthened to see them, to be able to see them. Currently, only this area is lit up. Xiayan looked ahead in surprise. There behind the iron bars was a giant bear with glowing red eyes. Around its neck it wore a necklace of skulls. The beast that Song Shijun rode in my past life. Suddenly its mouth gaped open, eyes flashing with fire. Xiayan stared at it, taken aback. Suddenly the bear turned gentle and said cheerfully, "Oh my, is this the new warden? Young and talented indeed, it's been thousands of years. We've finally been waiting for you to arrive. If you have any orders, just say the word." It even leaned out trying to kiss the warden. Daji screamed in anger. "It really is you, you black bear. Have you no shame showing your face to the warden like that?" She transformed into a fox and climbed onto his head. "Move aside. Even I haven't gotten a chance to lick him yet. 1,000-year demon king locked up for a while, and you've turned into a literal lapdog." Beside them stood a massive bird. "What's so great about this warden? He's just riding on the power of that medallion. If you want yours truly to submit, even 1,000 years of heavenly thunder wouldn't make me flinch." First it was Sudaji, then the bear spirit. The entities connected to this prison are all legendary monsters. The myths. Xia Yan peered into the dark space before him. That look of his, the bird's eyes were incredibly fierce. Could it be? Then it spread its massive wings. "Lei Genzi," Daji giggled behind her hand. He as expected of the warden. One look and you already know who he is. The tower was bound by massive red chains. The sky crackled with eternal lightning. Monsters are divided into ranks. Soldier, warrior, general, king, and saint. Right now, the warden is on the lowest level of the demon suppression tower, where general rank criminals are held. The higher you go in the tower, the stronger the imprisoned monsters become. It's said the top floor even holds saint-rank criminals. This humble servant once heard Lady Nua sigh, that God-rank beings once existed in this world, but they were destroyed by time. I hope the warden works hard to level up quickly and take full control of the prison. He let out a breath. It seems this tower is even more powerful than I imagined. Those monsters, fierce creatures with gaping maws, appeared behind him. Cheyenne said, "If even the general rank beasts on the bottom floor are already this formidable, it's hard to imagine who is locked up on the top floor." His eyes were full of confidence. "But it doesn't matter who they are. In the future, they will all be part of my power. During this era, I must relentlessly grow stronger." Daji smiled. "Warden, with your current soul power, this is the limit of where you can reach. Within the prison, you must absorb more soul power, convert it into strength to unlock more rooms, and ascend to the higher floors." The atmosphere turned bleak, signaling a future full of turmoil. Ending the conversation, Xia Yan walked down the street under the lush green canopy. Origin force and special abilities are different. Abilities must be absorbed from life essence and spirit crystals, while soul power can only be harvested by slaying the gods. In 3 days, the celestial gods will appear. That will be my hunting season. For now, I need to get everything ready. Antique Peach Street campus. In my past life, someone accidentally scored an immortal binding rope here, and became a powerhouse ability user because of it. Xia Yan walked down the street with a confident look in his eyes. If I remember correctly, this treasure should still be here. He used his divine vision to scan the surrounding relics. The energy radiating from these antiques? Not a single one can hide from my nether fire. Two elderly men appeared on the street. It was Song Tian, head of the Song family, father of Song Shijun and old man Huang, an expert antique appraiser. Song Tian spotted him from behind. "Wait, isn't that Zia Yan?" he said. "What the heck is he doing here?" He recalled a past conversation with Song Shijun. "Shijun, the friends you choose to hang with, must always be of use to you." "Got it." He smiled and replied, "Relax, Dad. Zia Yan is just a loyal sucker. He's a total pushover." Old man Huang asked, "What's the matter, Mr. Song?" Song Tian rubbed his chin while pondering. "It's nothing. Just ran into an acquaintance. Old man Huang, let's go look for the antiques first. I'm relying entirely on your expertise." Old man Huang pointed straight ahead. "Haha, don't you worry, Mr. Song. This old man still has a few tricks up his sleeve. Too bad most of this stuff is just cheap arts and crafts." Song Tian gestured and leaned forward, lost in thought. "After paying respects at the ancestral home a few days ago, I've been dreaming about my ancestors constantly. They told me to find certain antiques and other rare things. Well, better safe than sorry. I'd rather believe it than not. That's why I specifically invited old man Huang to appraise them today. We have to succeed." Old man Huang looked at the shop in front of him and let out a soft, He ran over, pointed at a hanging gourd, and cried out, "There it is." Immediately, a hand picked it up and said, "Boss, how much for this?" Old man Huang reached out. "Oh no." Seeing this, the shopkeeper pointed at the gourd and said, "This gourd here is a genuine Ming Dynasty piece." But he was laughing secretly. "Haha, another total sucker has arrived." The boss held up one finger. "It's worth at least this much 10,000 yuan. Xia Yan acted surprised. 10,000, that's way too expensive. Is this all it is? He peered closely at the inside of the gourd. Xia Yan pointed at it and said, "Look, boss, this thing is even cracked, and you used a raggedy old string to cover it up." His words made the shopkeeper a bit nervous. "The way I see it, this is just a trinket. At most, it's worth 100 yuan. The shopkeeper got angry. He snatched the gourd back and barked, 100 yuan, get out of here, scram! Don't waste my time." Old man Huang spoke up from behind. "Boss, let me take a look at that." Seeing another customer, the shopkeeper brightened up instantly. "You two take your time." Xia Yan left clutching the red string he had secured, feeling smug. He looked down at it with his divine vision. The entire string radiated a mysterious energy. Who would have guessed this unremarkable little string? In his eyes, it transformed into a divine rope. It was the legendary treasure, the immortal binding rope. Xia Yan stuffed the rope into his pocket. "Next, I'll just sit back and watch those two put on a show." He thought back to Song Tian in his past life. Xiao Yun was taken away by the entire Song Tian family. Besides stealing the command medallion, they even used her blood for a sacrifice. "This time I absolutely will not let any of you off the hook." Old man Huang picked up the gourd, examining it with a nod. "This gourd holds a faint trace of spiritual energy. It's definitely an ancient piece." Hearing that, Song Tian immediately pointed. "Shopkeeper, this gourd?" Xia Yan appeared behind them with a sly grin. "Uncle Song, so it's you looked familiar from a distance. Are you out antique hunting too?" He turned around and said cheerfully, "Oh, Xia Yan, I didn't expect you to be interested in antiques as well. Actually, Shijun mentioned your family owns a certain antique. I'd like to have a word with you about it in a bit." Xia Yan stood back and shouted so everyone could hear. "Whoa, Uncle Song, you're loaded. Why are you so dead set on buying this specific gourd? Could it be that this gourd is actually worth a fortune?" The crowd heard this and swarmed over in an uproar, shouting, "Wait, isn't that old man Huang the big shot in the antique world? He already appraised it personally. Looks like this is the real deal. This gourd must be incredibly valuable. Shopkeeper, you asked for 10,000, right? I'll give you 12,000. Someone else immediately outbid them. 20,000. Song Tian grit his teeth in a rage. "Hey, I was here first. Don't you dare start a bidding war." People from all around crowded in, shoving and elbowing each other. "Haha, you haven't closed the deal yet. High bidder takes it right, ha. 50,000, 51,000. Song Tian held the gourd, trembling. It had cost him a whopping 170,000. "Damn it!" he fumed. "Originally, it would have only cost 10,000 to get this. But that brat Xia Yan had to meddle and waste so much of my money." Meanwhile, Xia Yan walked away casually, stretching his arms. Xia Yan smiled and said, "Uncle, Song, you said you were curious about my family's antique." He replied, "Yes, I heard from Shijun that your family has an ancestral command medallion. Would you mind letting me have a look?" Xia Yan happily agreed. "Sure thing." He held it out in front of the two of them. Old man Huang's eyes widened in shock. "This is a true treasure. May this old man hold it for a closer look." Xia Yan immediately pulled it back. "Of course not. This is my family heirloom." How could I just let you handle it so easily? Song Tian smirked and said, Now Xiao Yan, you and Shijun are such close bros. Just let your uncle have a quick peek. Xia Yan instantly turned away. Shijun. Sorry, I don't even know that guy. If that's all, I'm heading out. Song Tian reached out to block him. Hey, wait a second. What exactly will it take for you to let us see it? He pulled out his phone. Show me the money. 1 minute for 10,000, transfer me 50,000, and you can have 5 minutes. Okay, he asked suspiciously. Are you for real? He replied, no transfer, no talk, I'm leaving. Song Tian was fuming. His face darkened. Fine, I'll transfer it. Hearing this, Xia Yan tossed the medallion toward old man Huang. See, was that so hard? Xia Yan checked his phone and smiled. Very nice. Daji appeared and pointed. First stockpile water, then food. There are many empty cells within the Great Malevolence prison. Pick any room to store your supplies, Warden. Any item placed in here will be perfectly preserved. Even live animals, this girl wants to eat chicken tee-hee. He rubbed his forehead helplessly. A fox liking chicken. Makes sense, I guess. He began clicking to buy a massive amount of stuff. To an outsider, it probably looks like I'm trying to start a farm. A notification popped up, insufficient balance. Tisk, cash really doesn't last long, does it? Xia Yan turned back to the two men. Done yet, your 5 minutes are up. You want to buy more time? Songta made a proposal. Xiao Yan, would you be willing to sell this medallion to me? He agreed immediately. Of course I can. Xia Yan's eyes gleamed with smugness. The price is 10 million. Both of them gasped. 10 million? Xia Yan snatched the medallion back. What's wrong, Uncle Song? This medallion is a 1,000-year-old legacy. It's a top-tier antique. He tossed it in the air and turned to walk away. 10 million really isn't that expensive. If you don't want to buy it, well, I've got things to do, so I'll be taking my leave now. Old man Huang watched him walk away and said, Mr. Song, that command medallion is definitely a genuine relic. It's worth at least 500,000, but that kid is asking for a crazy sky-high price. Should we try to counteroffer and negotiate a bit? In my opinion, we could probably snag it for 100,000. Song Tian's face darkened completely. A dangerous glint flashed in his eyes. Old man Huang, you've worked hard enough for today. You should head home first. He left saying, Understood, I shall take my leave. Song Tian pulled out his phone and made a call. Shijun, gather a few men from the clan. Move out immediately. Find Xia Yan and his little sister. Bring both the medallion and the people back here. He grew livid. That little punk dares to play hardball with me. My ancestors spoke to me in a dream. Besides finding the relics, I must also prepare the fresh blood of a young maiden for the sacrifice. I was hesitating before, but Xia Yan, you've brought this death wish on yourself. Xia Yan walked along happily, thinking to himself, Haha, with this much bloodlust, they're definitely planning to make a move, huh? Good. I was worried they wouldn't have the guts to try anything. Too bad I couldn't finesse more money out of them yet. But whatever, I'll collect that debt piece by piece. Xia Yun stood by the suitcases and waved. Big brother over here, I'm here. Xia Yan grabbed the suitcases and said, All right, let's go home. Bai Shiren, Xia Yun's homeroom teacher, came running over in a hurry. Wait a minute. Xia Yun walked toward her. Miss Bai, what are you doing out here? Bai Shiren said between breaths. You're really asking me that, Xiao Yun. Why are you suddenly leaving school? Do you realize there's a huge exam tomorrow? Do you know how much this affects your future? Xia Yan spoke up. Miss Bai, I'm taking Xiao Yun home. I'm sorry, but she needs to withdraw from school for the time being. Bai Shiren looked at him. You're her older brother. Then she shouted, Xiao Yun is the top student in our class. I heard her parents passed away, and that her brother was the one raising her. I originally thought her brother would be more mature. I didn't expect him to be so reckless and gullible. She stepped closer to him. I am Bai Shiren, Xiao Yun's homeroom teacher. I do not agree to her dropping out. She has a bright future. She shouldn't waste it like this. He said, It's not that serious. She's just going home to handle some business. Bai Shiren turned red with anger and screamed, What could possibly be so important? The world doesn't stop turning and education never ends. All three of them were stunned, coming to a dead halt. Then Bai Shiren felt a bit embarrassed and said softly, In short, a student needs to... Xia Yan placed both hands on her shoulders. It's okay, Miss Bai, thank you. You really are a great teacher. So as a token of my gratitude, let me give you some advice. His gaze turned dead serious. When you get home, try to stockpile as much food as possible. Water, medicine, and weapons, the more the better. Most importantly, prepare plenty of Shangqing pills. They can help you survive the upcoming hardships. Bai Shiren was taken aback, thinking to herself, What on earth is he talking about? Stockpiling supplies. He's making it feel like the apocalypse is actually happening. She watched the two of them walk away. Sigh, I really hope Xiao Yun will be okay. At Xia Yan's home, he was putting things away in the cabinets. Xia Yun asked him, What do we do now? She sat on the bed. Something big is about to go down, isn't it? Xia Yan said, Yeah, but I'll protect you. Xia Yan hung the command medallion around her neck. Keep this on you, I'm going out for a bit. No matter who shows up, do not open the door. Xia Yun smiled happily. He patted her head. Good girl. Go ahead and start dinner. Make sure you come back early to eat. Xia Yan turned and left. With the medallion on Xiao Yun, I'll be able to sense her situation. Now first things first, I need to go hustle some cash. As soon as the elevator reached the first floor, he stepped right out. It was Xia Yan. Just then, Yalan was standing right there, wearing a provocative, very revealing dress. She seemed to be on the phone with someone. Her voice was anything but gentle. Hey, what did I tell you? Xiao Yun isn't at school. So you guys head over to Xia Yan's place first. They can run for a moment, but they can't hide forever. As she finished, the guy on the other end replied, Got it. You just make sure to stall him for now. We'll be there right away. With that, she ran over to Xia Yan, speaking in a flirtatious, lingering tone. Xia Yan, did you miss me? Shijun said he wanted to grab some late-night snacks with you. He'll be over here in a bit. Xia Yan surprisingly gave her the cold shoulder. He simply muttered a brief response and brushed her hand away. Yalan was stunned for a few seconds before asking, Hey Xia Yan, what's your deal? He didn't answer, only giving her a sidelong glance. Seeing that she rushed back to try and link arms with him, Yalan asked one more time, Don't tell me you actually want to break up with me for real. Stop being so petty. I know you're just jealous. But all she got was total silence, no response at all. Still, she stubbornly persisted and said, her voice sounding so whiny and fake, it could make anyone's skin crawl. Didn't I come all the way here just to find you? Xia Yan swiftly yanked his hands away and said, Sorry, but just thinking about the fact that we were ever a couple makes me want to throw up. With a face as cold as unmelting ice, he added, Please stay the hell away from me. Yalan's face immediately turned fierce and aggressive. She snapped, Don't you dare give me that attitude. After hearing that, he immediately walked out saying with a satisfied smirk, Oops, looks like someone's dignity just hit the floor. He continued to mock her playfully. And you haven't even picked it up, I guess you're just waiting for people to trample all over it. Hearing that made her blood boil. Xia Yan, where are you going? Get back here right now. Xia Yan immediately pulled out a property deed, causing Yalan's expression to twist even more severely. It was like adding fuel to the fire. Selling the house, he replied, his voice ice cold. She instantly barked back, What? Selling the house, isn't that the only home you have? Didn't you say you wanted to use it as our wedding home? Hearing that Xia Yan said, I'm short on cash now, so I'm letting it go for cheap. Why you want to buy it? Every single word he said was driving her crazy. Her heart was now consumed by the flames of hatred, as her mind raced with one thought. What the hell is wrong with him? Acting so cold all of a sudden, and now he wants to sell the house. This house was left to him by his parents. It's in a prime location. Market value has to be at least 3 million. If it weren't for this house, why would I have ever agreed to date him? She thought to herself, getting more annoyed by the second. After her thoughts settled, Yalan finally spoke up. Fine, how much do you want for it? He held up his hand, signaling a firm price, and said, No haggling, 1 million. She was completely caught off guard. Right now, her feelings were written all over her face. That cheap. Did he commit a crime or something? Is he selling the house to pay off debts? Xia Yan rushed her, asking, Well, you buying or not? If you don't want it, I'll go to an agent. Someone will jump at a steal like this. I definitely want in on this. Yalan chased after Xia Yan, shouting, I'll buy it. Of course I'm buying it. But I don't have that much cash on me right now. Can I give you 300 or 400,000 first? She kept following him, trying to negotiate and hold him back. I'll pay the rest gradually. As soon as he heard that, he went on a long rant at Yalan. Who says you can pay in installments, lady? You think I'm some kind of charity? 1 million in cash, and I'm not taking a cent less. Not liking what she heard, Yalan started plotting. Shijun is bringing people over to find him soon anyway. Xia Yan is a dead man walking regardless. Even if I give him 1 million, he'll end up coughing it all back up to me. The most important thing right now is to play him and get the title transfer paperwork finished first. After thinking it over, she agreed immediately. She didn't hesitate for a second. She said, Fine, 1 million it is. Let's go to the real estate office right now. They headed out even though the sun was scorching hot. At the real estate agency, Yalan and Xia Yan arrived together. While waiting, Yalan called her mother and said, Mom, don't worry, I'm buying a house and it's a total steal. The money will be back in our pockets in no time. Suddenly, her mother's voice turned grave. Listen to me. You're dating that broke, pathetic loser, Xia Yan, and now you're even using our own money to buy a house from him. This is our family's entire life savings. After her mother finished venting, she replied in a tone far more devious than her usual self. Haha, Mom, just transfer all the money to me first, Yalan said while crossing her legs, trying to look elegant, though she was anything but. The conversation between mother and daughter continued. She kept plotting with her mother. Very soon, he's going to disappear for good. A moment later, Jia Yan asked her, "Are we done?" "I'm not signing anything until I see all the money." Without a second's hesitation, she rushed to complete the transfer to him. "It's done. I've sent it to you." As Yalan hit transfer, she thought to herself, "I'm just worried you won't be alive long enough to spend it." Once the transfer went through, his phone chimed. 1 million received. After receiving the funds, he kept his outward expression neutral, but his inner thoughts were dark. He thought to himself, when the apocalypse hits, real estate will be worthless instantly, and people like you who just lost 1 million will have missed your final chance at survival. As for her, she couldn't have imagined this and just giggled, thinking she'd gotten the deal of a lifetime. Yalan looked charming and gentle on the outside, but she spoke with a very biting tone. "Haha, I'm so happy, Jia Yan, let's go to your place and celebrate a little." Jia Yan responded normally enough, but with an emphasized, "Yeah, we should definitely celebrate properly." Time shifted to late afternoon. A group of people were moving about. Someone in the crowd said, "I just heard that earlier this afternoon. Jia Yan already took Xia Yun back home. Shijun and his gang arrived, talking as they walked. Before he gets back, let's head up first so we can spend some quality time with his little sister." Inside the house, Xia Yun was chopping ingredients, getting dinner ready. Suddenly, the pendant around her neck emitted a strange signal. It began to glow. Shijun and his lackeys were already waiting outside the door. He let out a sleazy laugh and called out threateningly, "Xia Yun, open up. It's your big bro Shijun." Hearing this, Xia Yun walked over to the door. Confused, she called back, "Shijun." She looked through the peephole and shouted out, "Shijun, why are you here? My brother isn't home." Shijun's face appeared in the peephole. He replied, "Oh, I know." He started spinning a story. "He went to get stuff for Hot Pot and told me to head up first. Hurry up and open the door. It's roasting out here." Just as Xia Yun was about to open the door, Jia Yan's voice flashed through her mind, snapping her back to reality. "No matter who comes, do not open this door." Remembering her brother's warning, Shiyun pulled her hand back and tried to stall. Shijun. Maybe just wait until my brother gets back, okay?" Failing to get inside, Shijun angrily pounded on the door and yelled, "Are you serious, Xia-yun? You're actually locking me out. I care about you so much. Open this door right now. Listen to me and open it." Xia-yun stood her ground and whispered a soft sorry. Suddenly, one of his goons stepped forward with a strange toolkit. He used a metal pick to try and force Xia-yan's door open. The goon said with a smirk, "Don't sweat it, Shijun. We've been on the streets long enough to know popping a lock like this is child's play." Shijun grinned and called out to Xia-yun again. "Xia-yun, is that family medallion on you right now?" Xia-yun looked at this medallion, suspecting nothing. "Yeah, my brother gave it to me." Now that Shijun had the confirmation he needed, the door was forced open at the same time. Shijun barged in excitedly. "Well, then I can finally relax." The whole pack of them. The thugs, armed with wooden clubs, stormed straight into the house. Caught completely off guard, Xia-yun let out a piercing scream. Just as she tried to bolt, one of the thugs lunged forward and pinned her arms back. He clamped his hand over Xia-yun's mouth. Shijun walked over and said smugly, "If you'd just opened the door sooner, all of this would be over by now, wouldn't it?" He gripped the medallion tightly. Staring at it with satisfaction, he said, "Is this the antique my father wanted? Now I have both Xia-yun and the medallion in my hands. Later I'll make that guy crawl on his knees and beg my old man for forgiveness." Xia-yun struggled desperately to break free from the thug's grip. She screamed, "Shijun, why aren't you supposed to be my brother's friend?" He started laughing like a complete psycho. He spat out his vile true colors, saying, "You want to know why I got close to your brother? Simply because he's a total moron. He fell for every single word I said. I've got a lot of skeletons in my closet that can't ever see the light of day. If I ever get caught, I need a fall guy to take the rap for free, don't I?" Xia-yun couldn't believe her ears. "How could you?" Shijun stepped forward and grabbed Xia-yun's chin, adding, "And another thing. If it weren't for Xia-yun, how would I have hooked up with Yalan? Her vibe is truly top tier." Xia-yun fought back, crying, "Let me go!" Suddenly a stinging slap landed hard across Xia-yun's cheek. Shijun felt a sick sense of satisfaction from the blow. A thug nearby asked excitedly, "Hey, Shijun, you're the man. Is this girl even legal yet?" Shijun began to taunt her, whispering, "Keep it down, little Yun. If you keep screaming, I'll have to gag you with a sock. As for that, you guys can check for yourselves. We've got plenty of time." At his command, the thugs looked at Xia-yun like she was fresh prey. Their sleazy laughter echoed throughout the room. Suddenly the room plunged into darkness. A strange spatial rift appeared, accompanied by the seductive, silky voice of Daji. "Hey, have you gentlemen ever heard of the legendary land of ultimate pleasure?" In an instant, Shijun and his entire crew were teleported through space to the edge of a massive lake, and in each of their arms they found themselves holding a little fox girl. They transformed into beautiful human forms. Daji spoke in a teasing tone to the general. "Let your humble servant wait on you." Shijun laughed with pure delight. This is paradise. This is absolute paradise. The fox spirits carefully sliced the meat. Daji fed him every delicious morsel. My king, your concubine is feeding you grilled meat. Shijun was so thrilled he felt lightheaded. Beautiful. Am I dreaming right now? Suddenly a flash of red light flickered in her eyes. Her voice remained gentle as she replied, My king, does the grilled meat taste good? Lost in bliss. Shijun answered, It tastes amazing, truly delicious. Daji smirked. That's good then. Her face grew increasingly sinister. The red glow in her eyes became clearer and clearer. Daji said, Indeed, my king, eating your own flesh is the most delicious thing of all. At that moment, the men in the lake snapped out of it. Everything around them was stained bright red. Terrified, they screamed, What is this? This is blood. Hollow cavities had appeared in their bodies. In disbelief and horror, they cried, My heart, my heart. One of the lackeys burst into tears. This isn't a land of pleasure. This is clearly hell. Daji's face was filled with sadistic pleasure. She looked at the men in the lake and threatened, Is my king not satisfied with the menu? The heart of Bigan, the meat of Boyikao, or perhaps the eyes of those loyal ministers over there. Which one does my king wish to eat? Shijun and his men were completely trapped in the illusion, conjured by the fox spirit. In total terror, they all squealed like stuck pigs. Shijun watched the men suddenly screaming and rolling on the floor. She was utterly bewildered and gasped, What is happening? After being immersed in the illusion for some time, they were finally released. But even though they woke up, they were all in a state of mental collapse. One of them screamed in terror, Ghost! There's a ghost! Shijun's face was as pale as a corpse. Hearing that, he growled, The hell with that. What ghost? It's just some cheap tricks. We've all killed people before, what's there to be afraid of? Next, clutching his pockets, he muttered with a mix of suspicion and doubt, his voice dripping with bitterness. Damn it, could it be because of this creepy medallion? Seeing that he was still in one piece, he acted like a typical glutton for punishment who never learns. He pointed his finger at the medallion and started swearing at it. If you've got the guts, then kill me. You're just a piece of junk. Totally useless inside and out. Pure garbage. Damn. Being challenged like that, Daji obviously wasn't going to just sit there. Suddenly, the medallion glowed intensely. A pair of sharp purple claws emerged. The claws lunged upward into the air. On their way, they slashed right across Shijun's face, leaving several deep gashes on his skin. Each scar ran long, stretching from his forehead all the way down to his mouth. The pain was so intense for Shijun that he let out another pig-like squeal. The medallion slipped from his hand as he recoiled. It hit the floor and bounced toward the doorway, as if it were trying to escape. The medallion slid across the floor until it reached Xia Yan's feet. Then it came to a gentle stop. He leaned down, picked up the ancestral medallion, and tossed it casually in his hand. Xia Yan strolled inside with ease. He looked at the men who had broken into his home and chuckled, Oh, things are pretty lively in here. Shijun's goons never expected him to return so soon. They all stared at him, jaws dropping in shock. Following right behind Xia Yan was Yalan. She entered the house, and seeing her benefactor sprawled on the floor, she cried out in alarm. Shijun, without a shred of suspicion, she rushed to his side to help him up, asking worriedly, What happened to you? Are you okay? Shijun winced as he touched his mangled face. His eyes blazed with fury. Pointing at Xia Yan, he barked an order. That thing is a monster. That medallion is some kind of cursed treasure. Don't let him get away. Get him. Xia Yun looked at her brother, consumed with worry, and gasped. Brother, be careful. Hearing the command, the goons immediately tossed that terrifying near-death experience to the back of their minds. With aggressive looks on their faces, they shouted. After a roar of bravado they didn't realize, humiliated, each of them grabbed a club. They charged all at once, looking to jump him. Xia Yan's Daji saw the enemies rushing in. Feeling helpless and fuming with rage, she complained to her master, The medallion's soul power is almost completely tapped out. It's all because Lei Zhenzi had to show off for a minute. Otherwise, I could have kept them under control for a lot longer. That bird guy just acted all stuck up and didn't even look at her. The bear spirit took the chance to whimper and play the victim to the boss. Even Yan didn't have time to make a move yet. However, Xia Yan remained completely unbothered. He said, With your massive size, the moment you appear, this whole building would probably come down. Am I right? His right eye erupted in flames. With a confident smirk, he told them, Minor stuff like this isn't worth your time anyway. It's the perfect time for me to test my new abilities. The tiny flame in his eye shot like a bolt into that group of thugs, leaving them no time to react. As soon as the fire broke out, they all collapsed and dropped their weapons. Only the oldest, biggest one in the bunch managed to stay standing. Confused, he stammered, What? The other thugs were getting burned into a daze, screaming out in pain. What the hell is this? It's so hot, put it out, hurry. A few of them were quick enough to bolt for the bathroom to cool off. but they didn't realize water was useless. One man watched his body slowly turn to charcoal, wailing in agony. My hands, my hands. Soon after, as the goons were roasted to a crisp, the couple watched the carnage, shivering with fright. Shijun stammered out, What is happening now? Only then did he finally start to feel afraid. Trembling all over, he shrieked, Xiaoyan, you're using witchcraft! He and Yalan crawled backward on their hands and knees. Clutching her lover's arm, she had the nerve to shout out like a total hypocrite. Playing the victim card, she yelled, Don't come any closer, Xiaoyan! Shijun is your best friend. You have to think about your past together. To Xiaoyan, those words were just laughable and ironic. He looked down at the cheating pair and sneered. He slowly began to list their sins, saying, Oh, I remember our past. You broke into my house, kidnapped my sister, and stole my medallion. And then there's this wicked woman, Yalan, playing along with your little charade. It makes me want to barf. Now you want me to remember our history? How can you be so full of yourself? By the time he finished speaking, the guy had regained a bit of strength. The two of them helped each other up, standing warily as they watched Xiaoyan. Shijun smirked, trying to talk his way out of it. Xiaoyan, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is all just a big misunderstanding. As he spoke, Shijun somehow produced a knife, surreptitiously hiding it behind his back. At the same time, he used his other hand to nudge the girl forward, prompting Yalan. Go on, talk some sense into Xiaoyan. Aren't you his girlfriend? You two are practically married. I'm even supposed to be the best man at the wedding. Hearing that, she regained her confidence. She smoothed her hair and began to sashay forward, approaching him with a condescending air. That's right, Xiaoyan. Don't you still want to marry me? I won't even ask for a dowry anymore, isn't that great? After all, you have nothing left now. Yet I'm still willing to marry you. Yalan's cheeks flushed pink. She grabbed Xiaoyan's arm, pressing her chest right against him. In a soft, flirtatious voice, she tried to seduce him. Can you tell me where you got this power? I'll love you forever. Just as she had his attention distracted, the guy seized the moment and lunged forward. He screamed at the top of his lungs, Just die already! Xiaoyan's right eye flashed with a brilliant light. The netherworld fire erupted from his gaze, blowing the two of them away, leaving them in unbearable agony. They had absolutely no way to defend themselves. Coldly, he looked at the sea of flames, and his two enemies dying before his eyes. Suddenly everything clicked. He said, I used to wonder why I awakened this flame ability. Now I finally understand. Perhaps it is because in this world, there is too much filth, just like you people. That's why I think everything. Following his will, the netherworld fire flared up with life continuing to manifest. Must be burned to the ground. In the morning at the Song family's ancestral temple, a group of men in sharp suits lined up neatly before the altar. In unison, they pressed their hands together in prayer. Deep inside the ancestral hall, Sungten held 3 sticks of incense and bowed before the spirit tablets, solemnly declaring, Ancestors above, your descendant Song Tian implores you to protect our Song family. May we have smooth sailing and rise through the ranks. The tablets perched high above lent the place an even more sacred aura. As soon as he finished his prayer, the highest and largest tablet on the altar began to radiate a majestic glow. A phantom figure of a man emerged. The phantom wore armor looking like an ancient general from a bygone era. Holding a flame in his hand, his voice boomed, listing the offerings. Artifacts of spiritual energy, the blood of sacrificial virgins, help me descend. Song Tian remained in his bowing position, his hands pressed together in deep reverence. He quickly complied. Yes, please do not be hasty, ancestor. Your descendant will offer the remaining items to you immediately. Seemingly satisfied with the answer, the phantom spoke once more with a warning. In 3 days, the apocalypse begins. Make preparations quickly. After dropping that bombshell, the old man vanished. Sung Tian was startled instinctively, looking up at his ancestor in shock as he cried out, The apocalypse in 3 days. His face was a mask of panic as he muttered, Could the ancestor really mean... Though he was shaken to the core, as the head of a powerful great family, he quickly regained his composure. He barked out orders at the top of his lungs. Send people out right this second. Stock up on massive amounts of food and water now. If my hunch is right, then I'm afraid the apocalypse is truly upon us. Following the doomsday revelations, he remembered his son and barked an order to his assistant. Hurry, tell Shijun to bring the people here. We're going to perform the sacrifice immediately. As soon as Song Tian finished speaking, the outer wall suddenly shook with a violent tremor. Clan members standing nearby scrambled away in terror. Xia Yan blew the doors of the ancestral hall wide open and stormed in. Not only that, he casually tossed Song Shijun toward the crowd like a rag doll. He said, No need to go through all that trouble. I've delivered myself right to you. He stood tall before the group with a mocking grin, while the other guy lay sprawled flat on the ground. Song Tian saw his son in such a pathetic state and cried out in worry, Shijun, His face turned dark with rage as he put on a self-righteous front to interrogate him. "You bastard, what have you done? How dare you barge into the Song family's ancestral temple? Who do you think you are?" Then pointing at Zia Yan, he ordered, "Kill him for me." The attendees of the ceremony stepped forward with grim faces. Following the command, a mob of about a dozen men charged at Zia Yan with clenched fists. Without a hint of panic, he closed his eyes. Then he calmly opened them, the netherworld fire swirling in his right eye. Responding to its master's will, the embers ignited. In Xia Yan's vision, on the foreheads and in the chests of his opponents, tiny flickers of light appeared. Those were called cores. The radiant heat in his eyes grew brighter than ever. He shouted a single word, "Go!" and launched himself at the crowd with lightning speed. In a flash, he took down several enemies in mere seconds. They didn't even have a chance to fight back. After clearing out all the obstacles, Xia Yan, wreathed in heroic flames, walked straight toward where Song Tian was standing. He smiled brightly, taunting him, "Mr. Song, long time no see." Behind him, the Song clan was left writhing in a hellish blaze. The lucky ones who weren't hit by the fire ran for their lives. The unlucky ones screamed and thrashed in pain. "It hurts so much." Song Tian's face grew even darker. He was so livid he lost his words. You. After a moment of stuttering, he suddenly pulled out a gun and aimed it at Zia Yan, screaming, "Die!" Right as he pulled the trigger, gunpowder ignited, generating heat. Xia Yan didn't even try to block it. He just snapped his fingers. In an instant, the gun in Song Tian's hand exploded into pieces, making him shriek in agony. Song Tian couldn't take the pain, collapsing to his knees and squealing like a stuck pig. Xia Yan stood by, looking at him with a smirk. "You really shouldn't be playing around with fire and gunpowder like that." After taunting Song Tian, he looked at the tiny flicker of netherworld fire on his fingertip, thinking with satisfaction, "Even though my ability has only reached level 1, the power of the netherworld flame is truly insane. Currently, I can control about 10 fire cores at once, within a 2-meter range, lasting for about 10 seconds. If there are explosives around, the effect will be even better." At the same time, Song Tian crawled desperately to the ancestral altar, cursing with a resentful face. "Damn you, you evil thing." He pleaded piteously with the phantom figure. "Ancestor, the Song family is about to be wiped out. Our bloodline cannot be severed. Please show your divinity." The phantom in the spirit tablet saw everything. Answering the call, he manifested in a burst of flames. He looked down at Zia Yan and roared in anger. "I am the ancient fire virtue star lord Ying Huo. Evil one, kneel down." As he shouted, he shot a burst of fire at him. Struck by the move, Xia Yan coughed up blood and was forced to one knee, staring up at the old man. The moment the phantom made his move, Song Tian stared at his hand in disbelief and muttered, "My hand, it doesn't hurt anymore." Those outside, being burned by the netherworld fire, also felt the pain subside and were overjoyed. With a divine backer, Song Tian regained his arrogance. He immediately pointed at Zia Yan and gloated, "A true god and holy Star Lord has come to purge evil. Zia Yan, you're cooked." The phantom of the Song ancestor materialized into a physical form, standing hundreds, thousands of feet tall, towering right over Xia Yan. A divine, overwhelming pressure radiated from its body. He looked up at the giant before him, yet showed no sign of surprise or fear. Instead, he just mused to himself, "I told you so." It seems the Song family hasn't completely fallen off. In this apocalyptic landscape, they really do have someone backing them up. I originally just came here to loot some relics for quick cash. Didn't expect to run into a heavy hitter like this. The Song ancestor's eyes glowed like high-beam headlights, looking down at him like he was a mere insect. He stomped down hard right where Zia Yan was standing. He nimbly leapt back, pulling off a perfect dodge. Seeing him dodge, the giant swung its arm down to attack again, while its other hand remained clenched in a fist, ready for anything. The Song ancestor slammed his hand into the earth, sending a localized tremor through the ground. Dirt and debris flew everywhere from the impact, completely obstructing the view. Song Tian couldn't see a thing through the dust. Thinking Xia Yan was toast, he gleefully commented, "That kid is definitely history now." But his laughter didn't last long, before turning into pure shock. What Zia Yan wasn't, hurt in the slightest, and he was smiling right at him. A black bear spirit opened its massive jaws, revealing jagged, crooked teeth dripping with saliva. He stood on top of its head, looking down as he shouted, "Who did you say was history?" The black bear spirit cooperated perfectly, its eyes glowing like lasers as it let out a ferocious roar. Right at the moment of the attack, Susie inside the prison sensed the flame energy from the Song ancestor and reported with a bright smile, "Prison Master, this fire virtue Star Lord is a primordial celestial fire spirit. Over 1,000 years of family offerings, it has accumulated a massive amount of spiritual power. It's just one step away from attaining a mortal vessel. If you can capture and absorb it, your soul power and fire abilities will be significantly boosted. Seeing her confidence, Xiaoyan asked seriously, "Do you have a plan?" Susie's expression suddenly turned devious as she whispered, "Currently, the Great Malice Order's soul power isn't enough. But if you're willing to go all in on a gamble, prison master, there might be a chance to win." Hearing that, he grew interested and said, Go on." Susie stood in front of the cages, holding the ghost bear and that muzzled bird, explaining it to him. "You can draw your own soul power and channel it into the Great Malice Order. Summon one of us to help you take him down." Hearing this proposal, Xiaoyan smirked and said, "Is that all? Soul power comes from the spirit itself. If I fail to capture the Fire Virtue Star-Lord and can't mend my soul in time, I'll drop dead instantly, right? And then whoever was summoned out could just escape the prison, couldn't they?" Susie gave a challenging smile. "So, Prison Master, are you down to gamble?" Xiaoyan wasn't intimidated at all as he replied, "Why should I gamble?" He turned his gaze toward the Great Malice Order and shot a blast of fire into it. Susie was caught off guard and instinctively blurted out, "What are you doing?" He held up the Great Malice Order, which radiated the glow of netherworld fire, and declared to Daji, "I've placed my netherworld flame inside the token. If I die, the flame will erupt and destroy the token along with itself. Without this token, no one in this world will ever be able to unlock the prison again. None of you will ever get the chance to see the light of day ever again." Xiaoyan looked at the inmates inside the prison and threatened them in a low voice. "So to make sure I make it back alive, you know exactly what you need to do." Then he turned the front of the Great Malice Order toward his own face, allowing it to absorb his soul power. The clouds directly above the tower suddenly twisted into a vortex, radiating a brilliant golden light from the center. The monsters on every floor saw the gateway in the sky and began howling in excitement. "That's the way out. That's the road to freedom. Let me out. Let me out." A giant phantom of Xiaoyan appeared right next to the exit. He spoke with a majestic voice, summoning forth the great demon guarding Luojia Shan in the South Sea. Jing release her from prison to provide combat support. As soon as the words left his lips, the hellish prison where Jing was held began to move. The cage was lifted and a majestic Jing crawled out. The moment he stepped out of the cage, he couldn't wait and lunged straight toward the exit. Susie didn't trust this goofy bear one bit. She shouted a reminder to Hazy, "Don't you dare mess around. The prison master absolutely cannot die." Jing leaped step by step onto the roof of the tower, using it as a springboard to blast out of that space. The instant the command token emerged, he gave the Song family ancestor a cold shoulder. After a quick swipe to find his footing, Jing stood, upright on two legs. With full bravado, he tilted his head back and roared with pure ecstasy, "Finally, I'm freaking out of here. It feels so damn good to be free." He completely forgot the mission, humming and doing a victory dance. "So hype. This is so hype." And so for slacking off on the job, Jing caught a punch to the head from his new boss. Furious, he urged, "Hurry up and get to work. My soul power won't last much longer." "Do you really want me to die?" Getting hit by the boss finally snapped him out of his daydream, acting like a total suck-up. He looked at his opponent and promised, Yeah, I got it. The prison master has always been loyal since I got here. You were right to call on me, sir." After finishing his self-promotion, he rushed in to give the Song family ancestor a beatdown, talking big while he fought. "Just a petty 5 elements deity? Dares to block the path of this mountain god. Hurry up and hand over the fire essence." The Song family ancestor tried to manifest his divine power, to strike back, but took a hit that almost knocked him into next week, summoning fire. Unable to win the fight, the Song family ancestor barked, "How dare you!" But before he could talk more smack, he got wrecked again. Seeing his opponent was too tough, he didn't hesitate to make an excuse, and dipped out fast. Truly an ancestor exactly like his cowardly descendants. "My true form has reached its limit," he thought. "I can't use my full power. Better retreat for now." The old geezer wanted to bail, but Xiaoyan wasn't having it. Before he could vanish, he got lassoed by the neck. Xiaoyan casually and gently tossed out a red cord. With a slight smirk, he uttered, "Trying to run, it's too late. Kuntian cord." Within seconds, the Song family ancestor was hogtied like a Christmas ham. He squirmed and wiggled but couldn't break free. Song Shijun woke up just in time to see his high and mighty ancestor now tightly bound up. Heartbroken and in despair, he screamed out, "No way, Ancestor Huo de Xingjun." Song Tian glanced at the gourd on the altar and was even more stunned. This is... He was so shocked he nearly coughed up blood, gritting his teeth. "It's the cord from that gourd back then, you..." Seeing this, Xiaoyan dealt a few more soul-crushing blows. Luckily, thanks to Uncle Song's generosity, only buying the gourd itself, was I able to get my hands on the Kuntian cord. This very one. Song Tian hit his breaking point, his eyes welling up with massive tears. Ancestor, my great ancestor, the Song family ancestor, could barely even save himself now, let alone be anyone's backup. After being tied up by the Kuntian cord, for a while, he transformed into a glowing orb of fire essence. When the transformation was complete, Xiaoyan caught it in the palm of his hand. He held the fire essence toward Song Tian and made an offer. How about we make a deal? Saying that, he hopped off the bear's back. He stepped on Song Shijun's back, smirking threateningly. To keep the Song family's legacy alive, you Song family people. Seeing his beloved son under the enemy's foot, Uncle Song grew even more tense. Xiaoyan asked indifferently, "How much are you willing to pay, Uncle?" A moment later, after reaching an agreement, he left, leaving behind a ruined courtyard, and the Song family members, scattered all over the ground. Shijun, resting his head on his old man's lap, asked resentfully, Dad, did you really just hand over all our family's money to him?" The guy gritted his teeth in pure saltiness. Meanwhile, Song Tian remained relatively composed, looking at the big picture. The apocalypse is right around the corner. What does this chump change even matter? Survival is the only thing that counts now. He reassured his precious son, then turned to bark orders at the clan members. With a sharp, steely tone, he warned them not to let a word of this leak out. Auction off our real estate immediately and liquidize every single asset we own into cash. Then stockpile as much rice and water as possible. Remember my villa in the suburbs? It has an underground bunker. Reinforce and arm it to the teeth right now. Also get Elder Huang on the line and keep buying up antiques. He clenched his fist, showing total resolve. With a confident look, he boosted everyone's morale. Xiaoyan is just one man. The world is changing because of the apocalypse. He already has awakened abilities. If all the Song family descendants can seize this opportunity, then this doomsday might actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise for us. After finishing his pep talk to the clan, he strained his neck and roared, "Xiaoyan, I'm going to make your life a living hell." At the same time, Xiaoyan appeared in front of a large pharmacy. Ping, his phone chimed. He received a bank notification. Your current bank account balance is 2,896,000. With the money secured, Xiaoyan walked into the pharmacy with confidence, wearing a smile that was half satisfied and half regretful. If time weren't so tight, I could have fleeced even more from the Songs. Oh well, efficiency is the top priority now. He went straight to the cashier to place an order. "Hi, I'd like to buy 1 ton of Shangqing pills." The cashier gave a polite, habitual smile and said, "Certainly, sir. I'll get those for you right away." But a second later, the massive quantity finally registered. Confused, she blurted out, How much 1 ton? Are you pulling my leg? Shangqing pills are just basic heat clearing. And detox meds, right?" Xiaoyan's face went cold as he asked, "Are you selling or not? If not, I'll just take my business elsewhere." The cashier's smile froze as she scrambled to negotiate. "Wait, sir. We're definitely selling. It's just that for such a massive bulk order, we need to pull stock from our other branches. It might take about 2 days. Plus, the total cost isn't going to be cheap." He didn't waste time and went straight to his demand. "I'll pay an extra 20%, but I need the goods by tomorrow." Seeing such a big spender, the cashier agreed instantly. "No problem." With the order placed, he left the shop immediately. After leaving the pharmacy, he wandered aimlessly through the streets, lost in thought. "I've cleared out 10 tons of Shangqing pills in the whole city. I also ordered a ton of jade online. That should be enough for now." Xiaoyan took a moment to look around at the rare, peaceful scene before his eyes. His heart felt heavy with emotion. Who would have guessed that in the coming apocalypse, the most vital resource would be a medicine that almost no one cares about, like the Shangqing pill? He flashed back to when he was infected Xiaoyan. Back then, his whole body was in agony. The man was a ball of pain, crying out, "It hurt so much." He just wanted to die. Xiaoyun hugged her brother, sobbing uncontrollably. "Big brother, I'm so sorry I couldn't get any Shangqing pills. This medicine can help speed up the awakening of special abilities, and it's effective at suppressing zombification. If only we'd known and hoarded more earlier." "Don't give up, brother. I'll go check the pharmacies further away." With that, she ran out the door without looking back. Watching his sister leave, Xiaoyan's worry made him forget the pain. He screamed, "Don't go, Xiaoyun! It's dangerous out there." But no matter how much he called out, it was useless. Recalling Xiaoyun now, he could still clearly feel that same sense of helplessness. Xiaoyun's departure back then was a final goodbye. Xiaoyan headed back home. He stood silently at the door, watching his little sister sleeping soundly and safe. A faint, unconscious smile appeared on his face. This time, I won't let anything like that happen ever again. This time, he made a silent vow in his heart. He reached out and gently patted Xiaoyun's head. After checking on his sister, Xiaoyan left her room. As he walked, he quietly calculated his moves regarding the Song family. They only know that the apocalypse is coming, and that they must stockpile a massive amount of food. But they don't realize that in the early stages of the end times, the most vital resource is actually the awakened. controlling the Shangqing pills, is like commanding a legion of awakened who can be used at will. Xia Yan walked into the living room and sat down on the sofa. Then he took out the fire essence refined from the Song family ancestor. He commanded the netherworld flames to flare up, quickly absorbing the energy within the fire essence. After a period of absorption and cultivation, the netherworld flames coalesced and transformed into a massive fire lotus. He opened his eyes. Within Xia Yan's pupils, an identical lotus flower flickered. Xia Yan headed back inside. The baddie Dodgy popped out excitedly, hyping him up. Congratulations, Prison Master. The netherworld flames have been refined and upgraded into a fire lotus. Its petals can shatter formations and nullify spells. Even illusions like my meat forest and wine pool would be no match for you now, Master. He didn't pay much attention to her flattery and continued testing his strength. He manifested a sword made of fire. Sudaji excitedly grabbed his arm and praised him. Your ability has also ascended to level 2. Your control over the fire's shape is much more precise now. Done. The flame in Xia Yan's eyes turned into a great blade, exactly as he imagined it. Very good. That fire essence was even more useful than I thought. Dodgy and the black bear demon competed to cling to Xia Yan. He Xiangjing said, Prison Master, next time you summon, remember to call on this old bear being able to go out and play. Is truly awesome. What's more, my sin count has dropped to 90, and from now on, every time I get prison food, I'll get to have an extra piece of meat. Dodgy's sin count remained stuck at 100. Meanwhile, Hai Xiangjing's sin count had dropped to 90, all thanks to helping the prison master Xia Yan. Seeing this, Dodgy quickly spoke up. So helping the prison master complete tasks actually reduces our sins, which means better treatment here in prison. Besides, you also siphoned off quite a bit of spiritual power from Huo Dei. For such a sweet gig, Prison Master, I want to be summoned too. Watching his two servants bicker back and forth, Xia Yan felt totally annoyed and pushed them both away. Knock it off over there, Lei! Genzi really can't stand these people. His eyes flared with red veins. These watchdogs were tamed by a few tiny crumbs of benefits. Shut your trap, kid. You'd better not summon me, because I'll just stand by and watch coldly, waiting for my chance to break out of this joint. Hearing that, Xia Yan just gave a smirk. Lei Genzi, as my power grows, more and more prison doors will be unlocked. If I find beasts way stronger than you, why would I even need to summon you? After schooling Lei Genzi with those few words, Xia Yan turned to leave, not forgetting to give him a final reminder. When that time comes, you might be the one begging me. Back home, Xia Yan held the command token in his hand. Xia Yan gripped the token tightly, looking up at the crimson sky, waiting for the moment the world would change forever. Tomorrow is the 2-day countdown. Before the apocalypse, I need to make every second count. I still have over 20 million on me. That should be enough to buy that thing. The next day, Xia Yan went to a jewelry exhibition to find items capable of absorbing spiritual energy. After browsing for a bit, Xia Yan spotted an item, displayed in glass case number 47. Found it. The item Xia Yan was looking at was a black crystal with a glowing yellow stone inside. In the apocalypse, basic resources can be looted, but the energy cores needed to level up powers can only be obtained by killing the undead. This stone right here contains a massive amount of crystals. It's enough for my level 2 ability to jump straight to level 3. Xia Yan's eyes flared with a bright spark of fire, and he determined that he had to get this stone. In my past life, some lucky bastard snagged this stone and left everyone in the dust right from the start. He reaped countless benefits because of it. This time it's definitely going to be mine. At the auction, countless precious items were being put up for bid. The jewelry set, Spring Sun Jade, was sold for 1.3 million. Everyone cheered and offered their congratulations. And finally, it was time for the stone Xia Yan had his eye on to be auctioned off. Now, as you can all see, this stone has incredible potential. According to our scanning equipment, it can yield at least 5 million worth of jadeite. The auctioneer announced the starting price, making everyone scramble to raise. The opening bid is 3 million. Who will go higher? Highest bid takes it. The price for the stone quickly jumped from 3.5 million to 3.8 million, then hit 4 million. Suddenly, a wealthy-looking young guy with a cigarette in his mouth, sitting at the front table, flanked by 2 gorgeous girls on either side, dropped a massive bid of 5 million. The crowd below was stunned by how much of a baller he was. As expected of the man, he just went straight for the max. Another person added, Houge has made his move. We won't even try to compete. Gotta show respect to the Yihao group, right? Hearing the chatter, he couldn't hide his smugness. Thanks everyone, drinks are on me next time. His celebration didn't last long, as a familiar voice rang out. 6 million. Houge turned toward the door with a scowl. Who is that? One of the girls by his side quickly asked. Who is he? I've never seen him before. He looks like a student. Security personnel quickly rushed over to Xia Yan. Excuse me, sir, they announced. We operate on a membership basis here. You need a black card to participate in the auction. This isn't a joke. Sir, you see..." Before the security guard could even finish, Cheyenne had already whipped out a black card, much to everyone's shock. Any other problems? That was all it took. The security guard's attitude flipped instantly. "No, not at all. Right this way, sir." He scrambled to show Ziayan some respect. This was a high-tier cash black card worth tens of millions. Could he be a young master from some powerful family? Upon hearing Xiaoyan's bid, the auctioneer immediately announced, "This young man has bid 6 million. Does anyone want to raise the price?" The Yihao Group's heir wasn't about to back down. He quickly bid 7 million. Kids show Houge some respect here. Don't make things awkward for yourself later. But Xiaoyan couldn't care less about that. All he cared about was getting that stone. So he threw down a bid of 10 million. At Xiaoyan's words, every single person turned to stare at him. This price, it far exceeds the actual value of the stone. Others were equally stunned. Even he felt his skin crawl. At the price Xiaoyan just called out, the blue-haired girl, seeing Xiaoyan's bid, was completely irrational. Hurriedly whispered in her man's ear, "Houge, there's no need to get tilted because of him. He's just baiting his own price. Just let him play the fool if he wants." After hearing what she said, he turned to demand his identity. "Hey kid, what's your name?" He answered Houge clearly without a shred of hesitation. "Xiaoyan." The other guy quickly propped his legs up on the table and gave Xiaoyan a thumbs up. "Fine, Xiaoyan. I'll remember you. You've got some guts, I'll give you that." After the auction ended, Xiaoyan finally secured the energy crystal he desired. Xiaoyan held the crystal in his hand, his eyes flashing with sparks of fire as he stared intensely at it. "Finally, it's in my hands." The rest of the auction continued on. The next item is the 9-stem 7-treasure fan, adorned with diamonds, exquisite jade, and rare pearls. As the lapis lazuli jewelry was unveiled, everyone gasped, "It's so sophisticated." Ignoring the crowd's chatter, Xiaoyan turned to leave as soon as he collected his crystal. Suddenly, the room erupted into total chaos. "What the hell is this?" "A monster. There's a monster, help." The commotion piqued Xiaoyan's curiosity. Right in the middle of the hall, a monster emerged, surrounded by flashes of light and an overwhelming power that brought everyone to their knees. The monster took the form of a giant green serpent, but it had a human head and terrifying blue eyes. The beast ignored everyone else and lunged straight for Xiaoyan, as if it wanted to devour the crystal. This made Xiaoyan realize that it was specifically targeting him. Before the auction started, the jade fan and the stone must have been kept close together, allowing it to sense the energy within the stone. Xiaoyan clutched the stone tightly. With the apocalypse drawing near, the evil spirit within the fan had been awakened. The world was on the brink of absolute chaos. Mysterious events were happening left and right, and all of this was just the appetizer. Houge was also caught up in the mess, having no clue what was going on. He rushed over to see what the hell was happening. Seeing the monster closing in on Xiaoyan, he wanted to help, but his human strength was no match. The moment he got close, the monster swatted him away. With his weapon in hand, he could only shout for Xiaoyan to watch out. After failing to stop the monster, Houge could only stand there wide-eyed. It charged at Xiaoyan, but Xiaoyan was actually incredibly powerful. The monster barely reached him before it could do anything. Xiaoyan blocked it with a blast of fire, making it reel and hiss in pain, and he didn't stop there. Xiaoyan sent it flying with a single punch. Xiaoyan's golden eyes blazed with fire once again. With a surge of immense spiritual energy, the monster's entire body was engulfed in flames, without even a chance to struggle for escape. It could only endure the pain. In just a few moments, Xiaoyan had completely annihilated the monster. But as a supernatural being, it possessed some spiritual energy, so its soul transformed into raw power. Xiaoyan watched, as the monster's soul was sealed into the command, tablet noting, a minor demon with low cultivation. The harvest is just this tiny bit of power. After finishing off the beast, Xiaoyan turned around and walked away, leaving Houge standing behind, absolutely floored by his strength. Seeing Xiaoyan about to leave, Houge called out with eyes full of admiration, "Holy crap, Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan, you're a freaking legend. I seriously want to be your disciple." Scene changed to the bottom of Xiaoyan's apartment. Tons of goods were being delivered, drawing a crowd of curious onlookers. "Sorry, excuse me coming through." The local residents were captivated and gossiped about the massive amount of supplies. "Did Xiaoyan buy all this stuff? Is he trying to open a supermarket or something?" Another said Xiaoyan is a really good guy, and he has such a gentle personality. He must be trying to start his own business. Suddenly, some middle-aged lady appeared out of nowhere, with a look of pure contempt, dropping some snide comments. "Haha, kids these days are so clueless. Does he really think anything he tries will just work out?" She glared at Xiaoyan's stash, and judged him with a face full of salt. "Let's just wait and see if this shop of his even lasts." A young girl who couldn't stand her toxic attitude immediately spoke up. "Zhang Ai, didn't you? Want to rent this warehouse yourself for a supermarket? Maybe that's why she kept taking cheap shots at Xia Yan's business. But with her ego, how could she ever admit to wanting such a terrible spot? I wouldn't even look at this place twice. Xia Yan returned, but he didn't have the energy to deal with the bickering. Ignoring the busybodies, he was busy calculating his next move. I just spent the rest of my balance on supplies. I wonder if I'm still missing anything. Seeing Xia Yan return, the delivery man quickly informed him, Mr. Xia, everything has been delivered. Would you like to double-check everything? Xia Yan headed toward the warehouse. No need, thanks. The delivery man looked at the pile of goods and added, there's another truckload coming tomorrow. Your warehouse might run out of space, but that wasn't an issue for Xia Yan. In that case, I'll go to your main warehouse and pick it up myself. The delivery man said goodbye to Xia Yan. All right, then, see you tomorrow. Standing nearby, Zhang Ai overheard Xia Yan's conversation and was absolutely fuming. Another truckload tomorrow. Did Xia Yan actually strike it rich? She gnashed her teeth in anger, so pissed that she clenched her fists. How is this fair? He's just an orphan. Doesn't he know how to show some respect to his elders? She kept ranting. So his supermarket is about to open now. That was clearly the spot I picked out first. I should be the one making bank. She had an incredibly bratty grandson with her. The kid ran down towards Xia Yan's warehouse, chanting, I gotta pee. I gotta pee. And with that, the brat ran straight to Xia Yan's pile of supplies, right under the eyes of both his grandma and Xia Yan. The kid let it rip, all over Xia Yan's newly purchased goods, even letting out a fart for good measure. Instead of stopping him, the old lady praised him to high heaven, beaming with pride. Good job, Xiao Bao, you're so smart to go all by yourself. She walked up to Xia Yan, waving it off like it was no big deal. Oh, Xia Yan, he's just a child, he doesn't know any better. You wouldn't hold it against him, would you? But Xia Yan wasn't about to play nice just because of elders and children. He reached out and grabbed the brat by the collar. While he was still taking a leak, making him squeal out loud, he straight up tossed the kid toward his grandmother, making the brat howl, while she was in a total panic, getting played like a fiddle, making Mrs. Zhang lose it and start cussing him out. Xia Yan, what the hell do you think you're doing? While the kid threw a tantrum at his grandmother's feet. Xia Yan nonchalantly blurted out a remark, making the old hag's blood boil even more. I'm just really shy, you know. After saying that, he didn't forget to slam the door shut, leaving the grandmother and grandson fuming and speechless. On the way home, Mrs. Zhang still couldn't let go of her anger, while her grandson was mesmerized watching the other kids messing with firecrackers. I want to play with firecrackers. I want to light some fireworks. Suddenly a thought popped into that old hag's head, with just a small hint from her grandson. A terrible idea began to take shape. Xiaobao Grandma will buy you firecrackers right now. Tonight we're going to have a real blast lighting them. She let out a creepy, sinister smile. If a stray spark happened to fly into the warehouse and start a fire, well, that would be a real shame, wouldn't it? Right, Xia Yan? On this side, Xia Yan was still clueless about Mrs. Zhang's scheme. He was busy admiring the haul from his shopping spree. Everything is finally here. The next problem is where to stash all this stuff. Xia Yan immediately thought of the Genmofa, a place with plenty of empty space, perfect for storing his collection. With just a single command from Xia Yan, the entire pile was sucked into a black hole, surrounded by falling embers. Daji's Genmofa, besides controlling demons, now doubled as Xia Yan's personal storage manager. So much stuff, this is awesome. Finally, Mama can live it up. After moving the goods down, Xia Yan immediately gave Daji her task, find an empty prison cell, and move all the items inside, leaving Daji beyond thrilled. She didn't forget to blow 1,000 kisses to Xia Yan. As you command, prison master, rest assured I've got this. The reason Daji was so hyped up is because there were so many things she'd been craving for a long time. I'm actually a pro at organizing stuff. There are still plenty of live animals here. We can set aside a plot of land next to the tower to keep them fenced in. Plus, being nourished by the spiritual energy inside the tower, the quality of the meat will be even tastier. By then, we'll have more chicken than we can ever eat. Xia Yan and Daji stepped outside the Genmofa gate. As they walked, he spoke. The outside world is facing the apocalypse. No telling how long it's going to last. I'll send in a large number of living creatures to keep the spark of human civilization alive. Hearing Xia Yan say that, He Xiongzheng in the prison made a suggestion. Then, prison master, you should start farming. During a famine, seeds and land are the most important things. As long as we have those, all living things will be able to survive. He Xiongzheng's suggestion was actually solid, but Xia Yan looked at the barren land in front of him and couldn't help but get a headache. He'd bought plenty of seeds, but as for the soil, suddenly an idea popped into Xia Yan's head. He left a message and took off immediately. I get it now. I'll be back in a bit. Xia Yan's destination was a vacant plot of land in the suburbs. With this much dirt, I wonder if the Genmofa can even hold it all. Without wasting time, Xia Yan used his power and the command collect causing the surrounding soil and sand to be swept into a massive vortex before being sucked into the command token. Inside, Daji was totally shell-shocked to see dirt raining down like crazy. Enough. It can't hold anymore. Daji, buried in a sea of dirt, screamed out to Prison Master Xia Yun, "Your level isn't high enough. The space you opened is too small. We're going to be buried alive." Back outside, Xia Yan had successfully collected a massive plot of land, ready for all the farming he could handle, but maybe this much still isn't enough for him. "All right," he said, looking up at the pitch-black sky, thinking about the approaching apocalypse. "After the end, everything, including the land, will be corrupted. Right now, these plots of good, uncorrupted soil will be impossible to find after tomorrow." After speaking, Xia Yan sat down. He held the glowing command token and came up with a bold idea. There's no more time to waste. No sooner said than done. He immediately proceeded to upgrade his Honglian to achieve a much larger storage capacity. Sparks from the token slowly began to surround Xia Yan. Meanwhile, Mrs. Zhang had bought a massive amount of firecrackers to carry out her plan. Looking at the pile of firecrackers, she laughed to herself, as if her scheme was already a success. "Xia Yan, just you wait and see how you're gonna bite the dust." Suddenly, her good little grandson ran out, holding a strangely shaped object. He ran toward her, shouting, "Look, look!" Seeing her precious grandson running over, she patted his head with one hand, took the mirror with the other, and asked, "What's up, Xiao Bao? Where'd this mirror come from? While we were buying firecrackers earlier, did you five-finger discount this from the shop?" "As expected of my grandson, you're so smart. So young and already knowing how to give grandma gifts." Seeing her grandson do something wrong and still praising him to high heaven, honestly, it's just mind-blowing. Suddenly, a thick demonic aura began to swirl around the kid. He pointed at the mirror and started saying weird things. There's someone." She couldn't understand what he was talking about and asked back what someone, but the boy just responded by shoving the mirror right up to her face and saying, "There's a person in here." Driven by curiosity, Mrs. Zhang immediately peered into the mirror. But strangely enough, it wasn't her own face in the reflection, but a green monster staring into her eyes with a terrifying grin. The grandmother was paralyzed with fear by the monster in the mirror. Mrs. Zhang could only back away until she lost her balance and fell to the floor. "Ghost, there's a ghost, throw it away now." Seeing how terrified she was, Xiao Bao continued to taunt and scare his grandmother. "Don't you love looking in the mirror, Grandma? Didn't you say Xiao Bao can do whatever he wants? So why won't you look? Go on, take a look." The kid shoved the mirror, with the demon inside, right into her face, making her scream in pure horror, "No! I don't want to." The demon inside the mirror acted like a predator, lunging straight out of the glass toward her. It opened its maw as if it were about to swallow her whole. Whatever that monster did, it left Mrs. Zhang brimming with demonic energy, lying motionless on the floor. The monster's cackling echoed all around them. Xiao Bao watched the scene before him, with twisted delight. It seemed like his soul had been hijacked by demons, as a dark aura completely enveloped him. "Haha, this is so much fun. Come on, Grandma, let's keep playing." The boy stood there frozen like a statue, as the demonic energy grew thicker, taking over his body. Now Mrs. Zhang had also transformed into a monster. She wore a sinister grin, her eyes glowing red, as she stood up. "Xiao Bao, come here. Grandma loves you." For a fleeting second, the kid seemed to sense the impending doom. He struggled and screamed, "I don't want to," but he couldn't escape his fate of being devoured by his own grandmother. During that dark night, the entire city was shrouded in strange, eerie mists, and in the sky phantom figures seemed to be watching. The city was slowly falling into ruin. The next morning at the pier warehouse, a staff member went on his usual rounds. Seeing the sky turn pitch black, he had a bad feeling. Wait, is a massive storm coming? Far out at sea, a fishing boat was heading back. But the sounds coming from it weren't those of excitement, but rather sighs of frustration and gloom. Something's wrong. The boat hauled up a net filled with monstrous fish. The fisherman looked at the catch, completely stunned. The creatures were covered in slime with razor-sharp teeth. "Is this thing even edible?" Another was skeptical. "Damn it! It's definitely those companies dumping toxic waste, causing everything in the ocean to mutate." The staff member didn't really care about the fisherman's chatter and headed inside the warehouse. Shift's almost over anyway. The employee walked slowly toward the night watchman to check in. "Lao Wu, hand me the storage log." But Lao Wu seemed a bit off. His whole body was stiff, and his hands were shaking and turning gray. Lao Wu hunched over, covering his mouth as he hacked and coughed, making the other employee worried. "Lao Wu, what's wrong? You okay?" Seeing that Lao Wu looked like he was in bad shape, the employee leaned in to ask, "Got a cold or something? You want to call it a day and head home?" While he was talking to Lao Wu, a group of strangers started approaching from behind. They were in black uniforms, moving in aggressively, giving the employee a really bad vibe. "Who are you guys?" their leader demanded immediately. I heard the entire stock of Shangqing pills from Chengfei QE are stored in this warehouse, right? The employee tried to explain. This is all pre-ordered customer property. If you're looking to buy something, you could... Before the employee could even finish his sentence, the strangers forced their way in. Clear it out. Before the employee could process what was happening, these masked thugs had already stormed in to loot the Shangqing pills, ignoring all protests. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Wait, stop right there. Finding the employee too noisy and in the way, one of the men in black stepped up and grabbed him. The thug threw the employee toward where Lao Wu was sitting. The leader ordered the rest of his goons to get to work. Move it, hurry up. But they hadn't gone far when a hand reached out and snatched the leg of one of the men. He gripped the man's leg so hard it made him stumble. Blood splattered from the leg. That employee was none other than Lao Wu. Just moments ago he was sickly and weak, but now his body was undergoing a transformation, turning his flesh a bruised purple, his eyes bleeding red. Long, sharp black fingernails began to grow uncontrollably. Seeing that things were going south with their leader, the men standing behind him took a defensive stance, gripping their shovels tightly, to fight with caution. The entire group then rushed forward to pin down crazed Lao Wu. After a while, Lao Wu finally lay still and motionless, his entire appearance completely different from before. At this moment, the leader began to experience the same symptoms as Lao Wu. Veins popped out on his face and his eyes turned red. His whole body trembled, making his subordinate anxious. "Boss, are you okay?" Despite the intense pain, his main goal was still to finish seizing the Shangqing pills. "Move the medicine first. If anyone tries to stop us..." Before he could finish, another voice cut him off. It seemed the owner of the goods had arrived to confront them directly. "What you planning to catch a body today?" The owner of the stockpile in the warehouse was none other than Haiyan. Stepping into the warehouse, Haiyan declared firmly, "Everything here belongs to me. Bought with real cash, yet you guys want to loot it." Looking at the group trying to pull a daylight robbery, Haiyan couldn't help but tilt his head and smirk. "The apocalypse hasn't even hit yet, and you're already in such a rush to die." The leader tried to choose his words carefully to negotiate with Haiyan. "Look, friend, I'll be straight with you. All the goods at this pier are part of my boss's business empire. Since your cargo hasn't left the port yet, why not do us a favor to keep things smooth? You name the price, what do you say?" Haiyan rejected him flatly. "Sorry, it's not for sale." Haiyan tried to remain as calm as possible while giving the group a final warning. "I'll give you exactly 60 seconds. If you're not gone by then, deal with the consequences yourselves." Lao Wu earlier had just been beaten until he was too dazed to stand up, but he wasn't dead yet. Seeing this, Haiyan realized something. Has the zombification already started? The group of strangers clearly didn't plan on giving up, on snatching the Shangqing pills. They rallied each other to go take care of Zia Yan. "Get him!" Hearing that the mob rushed forward to throw punches at Zia Yan. They thought they'd take Zia Yan down easily, but surprisingly, their strength was no match for him alone. In an instant, he vanished, leaving the crowd completely bewildered. After looking all around, they finally spotted him. Jiayan was standing on top of the cargo pile, leaving them totally stunned as to when he got up there. Jiayan casually opened a nearby package to check its contents. "You just said all the goods at this dock belong to your boss, so these things belong to him too." Inside were mostly seafood and other daily necessities. The leader didn't understand what Zia Yan was getting at. "What exactly are you trying to do?" Jiayan didn't hesitate to reveal his plan. Let them learn from the opponent's technique to create his own products. "Just following your lead." He smirked with one eye glowing like fire and continued, "Let's settle this." With a loud boom, the entire stock of goods was swept into Zia Yan's inventory. And along with that, he made quick work of that entire mob. The scene shifts to a massive mansion, surrounded by lush greenery. A voice suddenly rings out in shock. "What did you just say?" Inside the mansion, a very high-class woman says, looking absolutely furious, "Not only did you fail to bring back the medicine, but all the other cargo was looted too." Her subordinates were lucky to have made it back in one piece. Bringing the news, the leader hurriedly recounted the situation. "That guy has superpowers. He's not a normal human, he's a straight-up monster." The leader described how Xia Yan defeated their entire group with his extraordinary strength. Furthermore, with so much cargo, once he closed the warehouse doors, he just vanished into thin air. By the time we finally managed to force the doors open, it was completely empty. Everything was gone. After the woman got a brief rundown of the situation, she began to understand the gist of it. She wanted to clarify the identity of that individual with the superhuman abilities. So that's how it is. "And what's this person's name?" A subordinate standing next to the leader, looking a bit pale, spoke up. "I checked the recipient's info. His name is Zia Yan." Hearing the name Xia Yan, the woman rested her chin on her hand, lost in thought. "Xia Yan, so he's an awakened too. Plus it seems he might have space-related abilities. If I get the chance, I'll take it from him." Noticing her subordinate looking unwell, the woman stopped thinking about Jia Yan and turned her attention toward him. What's wrong? Immediately after, he could no longer withstand the spread of the plague and officially turned. He lost control and slumped onto the floor. Long black razor-sharp nails sprouted out. His pupils shrank as blood vessels burst in his eyes. His voice rasped, unable to form words, only a ha. It was over. He collapsed abruptly to the ground. The woman hurried to check his condition. The toxin has already reached his brain. Even if we use the Shang-Qing pill now, it would be too late. She ordered the remaining subordinate. Take him outside. Burn him to ashes. Be extremely careful. Don't let him scratch you. And avoid any direct contact with his blood. The subordinate quickly replied, "Yes, ma'am." While being dragged out, the infected leader suddenly began to twitch his limbs. He suddenly lunged straight at the woman, with insane speed, brandishing those lethal sharp claws. But of course she was no pushover. She was an awakened just like Jia Yan. At that very moment, a green glint flashed in her eyes. Instantly the window behind her burst open, as powerful streaks of green light surged in from the outside. From within that eerie glow, a mass of giant green vines surged toward the infected man and impaled him. That infected leader seemed to still feel the agony, letting out a blood-curdling scream. Outside the window, countless massive branches, controlled by the woman, were closing in, looking absolutely terrifying. The vines piercing the infected man's body quickly tore his flesh to pieces and crushed his bones. Because of this, the vines began to flourish and grow even more vigorously. The remaining subordinate witnessing this scene was struck with absolute horror and fear. He was likely stunned by the extent of her powers. "Boss!" But she remained perfectly composed, hands on her hips, saying this was only the beginning. With that, she folded her arms and instructed her remaining man. "Continue the search for medicine. Stockpile weapons. Turn the warehouse into our base. Use the coast as our back set up defenses. Gather everyone and tell them to get their heads in the game." After delegating the tasks, she turned to look out the window. A massive storm seemed to be approaching, with dark, gloomy clouds filled with lightning. She suddenly realized a horrifying truth. Judgment Day has arrived. Cut to Jia Yun's location. He was holding the box of Shang-Qing pills, handing them to Jia Yun while saying, "Take these." Jia Yun took the medicine from Jia Yan and swallowed them with some bottled water. Seeing this, Jia Yan didn't forget to warn her further. The water and air aren't clean anymore. From now on, anything that touches your skin or that you drink must only be bottled mineral water. Take 3 Shang-Qing pills every day for prevention and to boost your immunity. If you start feeling any chills, tell me immediately. Got it, Xia Yun replied. After Jia Yun obediently took the medicine, she then turned to Jia Yan and asked seriously, "You really should tell me now, big brother. What on earth is actually going on?" Seeing how serious his sister was, Jia Yan decided it was time to let her know the truth. "You're right, it's time you knew. Let's talk while we walk. I'm taking you somewhere." Xia Yan led Xia Yun out of their apartment. Xia Yun felt the atmosphere here was dark. The silence was eerie, and she had a bad feeling about it. "This is my first time leaving the house since coming back from school. Everything feels so gloomy. Why is that? Why does it feel so creepy?" Xia Yan glanced at the door of a certain apartment, smiled, and told his sister, "It's just that the monsters and demons are starting to crawl out." Right after the two siblings passed the door Xia Yan had been looking at, a bizarre laughter suddenly erupted from inside. "Mwahaha, finished. I was so hungry." As it turned out, the person behind that door was none other than Mrs. Zhang, the one who was always salty and jealous of Xia Yan. The old hag was actually eating her own grandchild. She devoured her meal while screaming in bitter resentment. "Why do they have everything? Why didn't they give me anything? All of this should belong to me. All mine. Everything is mine." Hearing noise outside her attention was instantly triggered. But it was the attention of a human turned into a ravenous demon. Her mouth gaped open as she kept shrieking. "How many times have I told you? Stay in the house, don't wander around. You're disturbing this old lady. Don't you know I can't sleep well?" Saying that, she flew into a frenzy and lunged straight out the door, muttering hateful words under her breath. "You're all out to get me. Everyone is targeting me, die, just die." As she rushed out, piercing, terrifying screams erupted throughout the entire apartment complex. Everyone was panicking, facing a hungry, wrathful demon. Switching back to Xia Yan, he and his sister Jia Yun were hailing a taxi on the street to head somewhere. Meanwhile, on the other side of the road, it looks like that girl Nha Lan and another woman are together. Must be her mother. That's how it turned out. Nha Lan and her mother are slowly approaching the apartment complex that Xia Yan just walked out of. Her mother looks up at the building from a distance and gives Nha Lan her assessment. "The security in this neighborhood seems pretty mid, doesn't it?" Hearing her mother say that, she just laughs. "Ha ha!" She whips off her mask, not forgetting to make a few bold claims. "With a powerful man like Jia Yan here, who cares if the security is bad? In the future, this place will be our forever home. Yalan's mother, hearing her daughter's confident words, couldn't help but feel relieved. I guess it wasn't all for nothing. We borrowed over 100,000 to get you that surgery, the most premium recovery in South Korea, and even that clean girl makeup style. You look so beautiful now. You'll definitely capture Xia Yan's heart. Yalan continues to pose confidently. That goes without saying. Xia Yan loves this look on me. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so obsessed with chasing me before, even though I don't know why he was so rough with me this last time. The point is, he's become so powerful and capable now, but she still has no idea that Xia Yan already knows her true colors and everything. She did with Shijun. She can't stop fantasizing if I can just make Xia Yan kneel at my feet once again. With his abilities, won't we be the ones calling the shots? Even the Shi family got attacked by him. Ha ha ha, that's my boyfriend for you. Yalan confidently flips her hair, bringing up the same old tricks. Once I show up in front of him and cling to him a little, won't he just come crawling back like a good boy? While she's still deluding herself, her mother had been watching and saw Xia Yan and his sister getting into a taxi to go somewhere. She shouted to alert her daughter about Xia Yan. Where does he think he's going? Immediately, the mother and daughter, Lan quickly caught another taxi to give chase. She signaled to her mother, hurry up and follow them. Xia Yan is a total jackpot now. While tailing them, she couldn't help but feel anxious. I can't let some other hussies snatch Xia Yan away. Meanwhile, the two siblings arrived at a place called the Emerald City Zoo. Just as Xia Yan and Xia Yun entered, they stumbled upon two men having a heated argument. A man holding his child seemed absolutely livid. My son's hat was ripped to shreds. He was almost mauled to death. And you're calling this an accident? The security guard, having no other choice, tried to explain. I'm so sorry, sir. The animals in our zoo are usually very docile. I have no idea why they're acting like this today. Xia Yan seemed indifferent to the scene before him. He led Xia Yun through the security gate. Hearing about the strange behavior of the animals, Xia Yun asked, are the animals getting aggressive because of the apocalypse too? You've already explained so much to me, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. Based on Xia Yan's explanations, along the way, Xia Yun shared her thoughts. Doomsday is coming. Humans will either turn into zombie-like monsters or survive the mutation and gain superpowers. And you, brother, due to some coincidence, awakened early, which is why you can predict what's coming. In fact, Xia Yun's reasoning was spot on. Xia Yan thought back to the events of his past life and decided to keep the truth from his sister. All the agony and suffering from his previous life, it was better if Xiao Yun didn't know. Otherwise, it would haunt her forever. But looking at where they had arrived, Xia Yun couldn't help but wonder, why did Xia Yan bring her here? In this situation, why don't we just find a place to hide out? Why do we have to come to the zoo? But Xia Yan only gave her a cryptic response. Hiding is only temporary. If you want to survive the apocalypse, you have to seize power. He patted Xia Yun's head as he continued. Even though I have combat skills, I can't protect you 24/7. During the end times, anything can happen, so Xiao Yun? Xia Yan paused for a moment. He looked at Xia Yun with a tender gaze, full of brotherly love. You need to become strong yourself. After hearing Xia Yan say that, Xia Yun probably thought her big brother was going to teach her some kind of special ability, and she got all hyped up. Can I really do it, brother? I want to be strong. I don't want to be a burden to you. Xia Yan just smiled at his sister's words. Without saying much else, he mysteriously led Xia Yun deeper into the zoo. A while after Xia Yan and Xia Yun had entered the zoo, the mother-daughter duo, Yalan and her mom also arrived. She couldn't figure out why the two siblings came here and felt quite puzzled. What are Xia Yan and Xiao Yun doing at the zoo? Her mother, standing nearby, immediately started plotting. Hurry up, honey, go follow them. Make it look like a chance encounter and charm him. Yalan, feeling like her look wasn't quite perfect yet, stopped by the camel enclosure to touch up. She took out her lipstick and mirror and said, let me just fix my lipstick real quick. She was completely oblivious, checking the mirror and applying lipstick, unaware of the danger lurking right behind her back. The camels behind her looked incredibly fierce, with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth. They had probably mutated as well. Back to Xiao Yun and Xia Yan. At this point, the two siblings had reached the turtle area. Just as they stepped into the turtle garden, inside Xia Yan's head, the voices of the ones inside the suppressing tower suddenly rang out. Daji giggled as she spoke, master of the prison. There is someone quite extraordinary here. I can already smell it. But following Daji was He Shengji. He was a bit annoyed, his eyes flashing with a red tint. Old Hai here hates fighting these types the most. They're stinky, they're tough, and they've even lived longer than me. After searching all over the turtle enclosure, Xia Yan finally found his destination. Found it. In front of the Xia siblings was a rather peaceful spot. Sunlight filtered through the leafy canopy, stretching long shadows across the ground. Specks of light sparkled like 1,000 stars. In the middle of it all sat a massive rock, and atop it was a giant turtle with its head held high, soaking up the sun. Upon seeing the elder turtle perched on the large rock, standing before Xia Yan, both Daji and He Xiongji cried out in surprise. 8,000 years old. Xia Yan shared the sentiment, responding to them, "Yeah. This turtle has lived here since the zoo was first built. It's been over 100 years now. The zoo even gave it a name." Xia Yan looked at the information plaque in front of the elder's area and felt a bit taken aback. He muttered the name blankly, "Little Baby." The plaque clearly read Green Turtle, age unknown, named Little Baby. Seeing a nickname so unfitting for the elder, Xia Yan recalled what happened in his past life. In his previous life, this turtle was quite famous. Just because some self-proclaimed gods wanted to pass through the territory it held, the elder turtle refused to budge. It even bit one of those gods. That god faced off and fought it for days, but still couldn't crack its shell. As Xia Yan reflected, he slowly stepped onto the rock where the elder turtle lay. When I heard that news back then, I thought, if I could get it to protect Xiao Yun, there would definitely be nothing to worry about. Approaching the elder turtle, Xia Yan showed the respect and politeness due to an elder. He clasped his hands and bowed, "Greetings, Elder Gui." The turtle heard Xia Yan's greeting but remained silent. He just ignored him, only squinting one eye to give him a sidelong glance. Noticing the arrogant attitude and the slightly stuck-up vibe of the old turtle, Xia Yan let out a serious, "Oh." Fire sparked in his eyes once again. He spoke with double meanings, but his intent was clearly aimed at the old turtle in front of him. At the same time, he was surrounded by the glow of the red lotus. "After walking for a bit, I'm starting to feel hungry. Maybe I should whip up a pot of turtle soup and give it a taste." This comment, along with the aura surrounding Xia Yan, gave the old turtle quite a shock. His eyes went wide. It seemed the old turtle was getting a little spooked by Xia Yan's threats, so he finally responded to the greeting. "Why are humans always in such a rush for everything?" The old turtle craned his neck high and closed his eyes, sounding somewhat reproachful. "Back then, the person who visited me 3 times actually had a request for me. Forget about the lack of proper etiquette, but how dare you use threats and intimidation?" Seeing the old turtle starting to mellow out, Xia Yan pulled back his power and brought Xia Yun closer. He began to explain that the apocalypse was starting right now. "We really don't have the time to waste on formalities like this anymore. Elder Gui, I am Xia Yan, and this is my sister Xia Yun." Seeing that the old turtle could actually talk, Xia Yun was taken aback, and then she excitedly squealed, "Whoa! Little Baby can actually talk." Hearing Xia Yun call him by that name, Little Baby, the old turtle's face turned red with embarrassment. He gave a few fake coughs and explained, "If it weren't for the fact that I was too greedy back then and got indigestion, which led to the zoo director happening to find me outdoors and taking such good care of me, I wouldn't have followed her here. That little baby stuff was just an accident." The old turtle craned his neck toward the sky and continued, "In the blink of an eye, it's been several hundred years already, but my lifespan is over 3,000 years. That time is just a flash in the pan." After hearing the old turtle's flawless presentation, Daji and He Xiongji reappeared, with excitement in their eyes. But of course, the kind of excitement they were feeling was far from normal. It was enough to make Xia Yan completely speechless with both of them. He Xiongji immediately piped up, "That old turtle is 3,000 years old. He's not far from evolving into a Xuanwu. If we could eat his turtle soul, we could extend our lives by 100 years. Xia Yan ignored the monster's bickering in his head and stuck to the plan he had set before. He cut straight to the chase with the old turtle. "Elder Gui, I would like to ask you to protect Xiao Yun. Just say the word and I'll meet whatever conditions you have." After hearing Xia Yan out, the old turtle looked up. A bright blood-red moon was appearing in the sky right in the middle of the day. He stared at it and made an assessment. All things are in turmoil today. The blood moon is rising high. Then he looked down at the pond, where his fellow turtles were swimming, and continued, "Once the apocalypse arrives, our turtle clan will surely be affected as well." Hearing the old turtle's words, Xia Yan immediately thought on his feet and replied, "As for the little turtles in this pond, I can take them into the demon-suppressing realm. I'll dig a pond to nurture them indefinitely." At the mention of the demon-suppressing tower, the old turtle's eyes flared with a suspicious purple light. The demon-suppressing tower. Xia Yan didn't hesitate to manifest the tower's presence directly before him, the realm of the demon-suppressing tower that he now ruled. Gazing at the image of the tower appearing, and the vision of a figure dressed in golden robes sitting at the tower's peak, the old turtle recalled a lesson from an old friend many years ago. That person had told him one thing: the chance for a Xuanwu's ascension lies where lightning and great peril converge. That realization left the old turtle stunned, completely speechless. Once the truth became clear, the old turtle couldn't help but burst into laughter. His body began to undergo a transformation. Streams of cyan light swirled around him continuously. He shouted, "So that's how it is! So that's how it is!" The reason why old Gui came here and ended up in this place 100 years ago. After returning to his massive form, he landed near Xiaoyan and his sister. The ground cracked beneath him as he barked out a shout. "You really think a brat like you can actually manage?" The monster prisoned the apocalypse is terrifying, but if you lose your way, you'll be 10 times more dangerous than the end of the gods. The old turtle spoke as he moved closer, as if intending to use his massive body to crush Xiaoyan beneath him. "If you can't even physically withstand the weight of my 3,000 years of life, then why should I bother helping you?" Xiaoyan didn't know why the old turtle was doing this, but he didn't have the time to sit around answering questions. He looked up at the old turtle's titanic frame and silently thought of a way to deal with him. Xiaoyan braced himself, gathering his power to take the hit. Just when it looked like Xiaoyan was about to be pancaked by the old turtle's enormous body, he threw his hands up, holding him back with every ounce of strength he had. But the old turtle was just too heavy, forcing Xiaoyan's feet to sink deep into the earth. Right then, the ground beneath the old turtle began to shatter relentlessly. The cracks spread wider by the second. His entire body now retreated into a massive, impenetrable shell. It was virtually indestructible. Beams of light radiated from it, releasing a surge of immense power that made the rocks and trees shake violently. Xiaoyan watched this unfold from a distance, terrified. She could only scream out, "Brother!" Meanwhile, those two women, including Ruolan, were still searching for Xiaoyan. Let's go now," she urged. "I've finished fixing my makeup," she said, signaling to her mother. As they walked, the heavy wind and loud noises coming from the direction of Xiaoyan and the old turtle reached Nalan as well. It piqued her curiosity. "What's going on in there?" Before she could even follow the noise, suddenly something snatched the wig right off Nalan's head, revealing her short, balding hair. She stood there wide-eyed and screaming. It turns out the thing that snatched Nalan's wig was actually a pack of mutated camels right behind her. Seeing it steal her hair, she flew into a rage, raising her fist and cursing them out. "Damn it!" Immediately after, she covered her bald spot with one hand, while the other hand swung her handbag at the camels, trying to get her wig back. She didn't stop hurling insults for a second. "You filthy beasts, give me back my hair." Before she could even land a blow, Yalan got blasted right in the face by those camels. A glob of bright green spit was absolutely disgusting. The entire pack of mutated camels went wild, spitting like crazy at the mother and daughter. Yalan and her mother were quickly covered in nasty, revolting spit from the filthy camel herd. Yalan couldn't stop screaming. "What the hell is this?" "Camel spit." Her mother wiped her face and chimed in, "This is so gross." The crazy behavior of the camels was making Yalan lose her mind just as much. She stomped her feet, wanting to charge at them. "Ah, I'm gonna slice them all to pieces." Luckily, her mother had enough sense left to hold her back while also grabbing her daughter's wig from the ground. "Forget these animals for now. Finding Xiaoyan is more important." The mother and daughter quickly moved on. The mother hurriedly slapped the wig back on her daughter's head, not even knowing if it was on straight. Yolan saw it and screamed, "Ah! It's backward. It's on backward." Recalling the strange noises from earlier, coming from the turtle exhibit area, the mother pulled her daughter and ran toward it. "There's something happening in the turtle area. Let's go. Xiaoyan is definitely over there." The two of them passed by a pond in the turtle section. Yalan caught a whiff of an unpleasant smell and immediately started complaining loudly. "God damn it, it reeks in here." As they walked, one of them stepped on some turtle eggs by the water. It turns out the one who crushed the eggs was Nalan's mother. She lifted her leg and looked at the pile of green slime on the sole of her shoe, complaining and whining. "This is so gross." She spotted a turtle swimming nearby, immediately raised her foot and stepped on it, rubbing her shoe back and forth to clean it off. Finally, this damn turtle is actually useful for something. It can even wipe the grease off for me." Right after that, the two of them headed deep into the area reserved for turtles, completely unaware that what they had just done was about to lead to a horrific disaster for the mother and daughter. After heading further in, the two of them encountered a massive hedge serving as a tall fence. Yalan approached those large bushes, getting ready to pass through. She only needed to pull back the large leaves in front of her to catch sight of Xiaoyan. With one hand adjusting her wig and the other reaching toward the bushes, she still didn't forget to be delusional about her own worth. Emerging from the greenery, looking sweet, adorable, yet incredibly seductive, it would surely make Xiaoyan's heart skip a beat. Her hand swiped back and forth, pushing aside the bushes to enter Xiaoyan's spot. As soon as she stepped inside, well, right in front of Yalan, a massive turtle appeared, its eyes glowing a bright, fiery red, staring at her with pure murderous intent. Instantly, the giant turtle in front of Yalan clamped down on her hand. It bit so hard that her hand was covered in blood. Fun fact, a turtle's teeth are usually very sharp and small, and their bite force is incredibly strong. Once a turtle latches on, it's excruciatingly painful and very difficult to get free. The large turtle bit down harder and harder on Yalan's wrist, making her scream in agony as she fell to the ground, dragging the turtle down with her. And it wasn't just Yalan. Her mother was also being attacked by that swarm of mutant turtles. She ran toward her daughter, screaming from the pain of several bites from those turtles. Arg, 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 and that woman? Yalan was still desperately covering her mouth, sucking it up, just to maintain her image in front of Xiaoyan. She couldn't let out a loud cry. Otherwise, Xiaoyan would witness this total clown show. Hearing her mother's blood-curdling screech, that woman, Yalan immediately turned around, her eyes wide with shock, and her jaw dropping, when she saw her mother also being mauled by those turtles. More and more of those turtles were swarming in by the second. They piled onto Nalan and her mother to tear them apart, some gnawing on hands, others clamping onto legs, making them both howl in pure agony. It hurts so much. It hurts. Get them off me. But while she was trying to scramble up to find Xiaoyan, she unfortunately tripped over a small rock, causing her to lose her balance. Before falling, she didn't forget to cry out, "Xiaoyan, help me! Save me!" Right after those words, Nalan fell face first into the turtle pond. She kept thrashing and complaining. "It reeks. What kind of nasty water is this?" Switching back to Xiaoyan's side. At this moment, he was still struggling to hold up the massive body of the old turtle on its shell. Some incredibly strange golden characters suddenly appeared. "Hey, Xiangjing," sensing that the situation for Xiaoyan was a bit sketchy, immediately spoke up. "Prison master, let me out. Let me smash this turtle once, then we can butcher it and feast on the meat." But Xiaoyan had no intention of calling on him, so he frowned and barked, "Quiet." It seemed like the weight of the old turtle was becoming heavier and heavier, making it incredibly difficult for Xiaoyan to hold on. Despite the backup from the Red Lotus flame, human strength has its limits. Xiaoyan was being crushed further and further down by that old turtle's body, to the point where now Xiaoyan had to drop to one knee just to stay up. From the old turtle's eyes and mouth, beams of light and golden scripts kept pouring out incessantly. The old man kept taunting Xiaoyan. "Haha, if you can't hack it, just give up already. All things live and die. It's all predestined. When the apocalypse comes, what could you possibly do?" The characters flowing from the old turtle's mouth and eyes continued to draw closer and closer to Xiaoyan. He added, "Why not just hand over the suppression tower to me? I'll guarantee that you and your loved ones will live in peace forever, even if the world ends. It won't have anything to do with you." At that moment, those golden characters were gradually boring deep into Xiaoyan's mind, making him frown, as he felt an excruciating headache. But those characters had already penetrated deep into Xiaoyan's consciousness and were slowly approaching the suppression tower. The suppression tower is such a malevolent thing. You can't possibly bear its weight. The more the old turtle spoke, the more those characters snaked throughout the suppression tower, throwing the demonic beasts into a total frenzy. Daji and Hei Xiangjing weren't doing much better. "Over here." Hei Xiangjing felt dizzy. "It hurts so much." Suddenly, he felt like just giving up on everything. Daji added, "I don't want to do anything at all." Just then, Xiaoyan suddenly seemed to regain consciousness. His face darkened and sweat dripped down to his collar. He asked the old turtle in a low voice, "Is that so?" It seemed that the old turtle's incantations couldn't block the sheer will and determination of Xiaoyan. He calmly talked back to the old man. At the same time, during this process, Xiaoyan's entire body seemed to be surged with power, emitting a blindingly bright golden light. "Old turtle, you've lived this long. Have you ever heard of this principle?" "First," Xiaoyan said with a stern face. He raised both hands high to push back against the old turtle's body. "If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind." Then he added a second principle. "If you're not living, you're dying." As soon as he finished speaking, it seemed Xiaoyan used all the strength he had just gathered to hurl the old turtle's body high into the air. Xiaoyan let out several earth-shattering roars. He was surrounded by a swirling mix of golden and purple light, as if his power had surged to a whole new level. The old turtle's entire body was now pinned flat against the ground. He was dazed, unable to believe that Xiaoyan hadn't been crushed to death. He opened his eyes wide, utterly shocked that the Sanskrit incantations he just unleashed had absolutely no effect on Xiaoyan. What, you actually escaped the Sanskrit chant? Without giving the old turtle a chance to pull another stunt, Xiaoyan immediately pulled out a binding cord, etched with strange characters, and mocked the turtle. "Cut the crap with your little circus act." Xiaoyan swiftly wrapped the cord around the old turtle's neck, catching him completely off guard, leaving him able only to blink and watch helplessly. But alongside his own anger, within his mind, he also felt the fury of the ferocious beasts like Hei Xiangjing and Daji inside the suppression tower. He Xiong-jing raised a fist and cursed, "Damn it, prison master! That bastard actually dared to invade us the moment we let our guard down. And even had designs on the suppression tower. Kill him!" Dodgy joined in, adding fuel to the fire. "He's an old turtle, all right. Just a hair's breadth away from becoming Xuan Wu. We almost got played by you. Luckily, the prison master's will is ironclad. Unlike ordinary people, Jiayan wasn't holding back this time. He transformed his flame essence into a sword, intent on ending that old turtle. Jiayan immediately leaped onto the old turtle's shell, preparing to strike him down with the flaming sword. He pointed the sword straight at the turtle's head and said, "Submit or die." Seeing how intense Jiayan was, the old turtle immediately cried out, "Ah, don't do it." When he jumped on the shell earlier, Jiayan had already tried a test slash, but it didn't seem to leave a scratch on him. His face suddenly went dark, followed by a sinister smirk. "Can't cut it, then I'll just keep going." Jiayan relentlessly swung his flaming sword, slashing directly at the old man's head. Luckily for him, he still had a bit of strength left. In such a short time, Jiayan couldn't take him down yet. The old man kept pleading with Jiayan, "Stop hitting me, stop it." Then he turned around, whining and crying to Jiayan while complaining incessantly. Seriously, this old man used the Mount Tai ancestral method to stimulate bone regeneration for you. Yet you treat an old man like this, throwing punches and kicks without any mercy. Realizing that pleading with Jiayan was useless, the old turtle quickly shifted his target over to Jiayun. He continued, whining and acting like a victim as he said to her, "Little girl, hurry and hold your brother back. He's literally committing animal abuse." Hearing the old turtle's words, Jiayan stopped slashing at the old man's head to check his own skeletal structure. Bone regeneration. Sure enough, his ability had been massively upgraded. It seemed his strength was much greater now, too. Having heard the old turtle's SOS, Xiaoyun ran towards Jiayan and called out to him. She stood before Jiayan and pleaded, "Brother, please let Grandpa Turtle go. It seems he really doesn't have any bad intentions." Xiaoyun's hand touched Xiaoyan's arm, passing right through the blazing red flames. At this, Xiaoyan withdrew his sword and the flames surrounding his body. Seeing Xiaoyan act this way, the old turtle had some positive thoughts. Even in a fit of rage, he can still be this level-headed. Not bad at all. Right after Xiaoyan spared his life, the old turtle suddenly shrank down and nestled into Xiaoyun's palms, saying, "Little girl, don't call me Grandpa Turtle, that's way too formal. But don't call me baby either." Xiaoyun smiled attentively, waiting for the turtle to continue. "Your ability to sense malice, your willpower, and potential are all top tier. With me protecting you from now on, you can rest easy." Upon hearing the old turtle say that, Xiaoyun was incredibly happy and grateful. "Thank you, Nini." The old turtle spoke again. "Can I call you Xiaoyun?" Jiayan watched as Xiaoyun and Nini were completely absorbed in their conversation, looking incredibly happy. Meanwhile, He Xiong-jing was sobbing dejectedly, giving up on his dream of drinking turtle soup. "So much for my turtle soup, it's gone." After a moment of silence, Xiaoyan decided to negotiate terms clearly with the old turtle. "One thing, though, no matter what. To be safe, I can't feel at ease leaving Xiaoyun alone with a monster that I don't have firmly under my thumb, staying in the same place together." Xiaoyan suddenly became unusually serious. "You know what you have to do, right?" The old turtle, in the form of the tiny Nini, looked absolutely adorable. He wasn't annoyed at all and was fully cooperative with Xiaoyan. "Of course, prison master. I was only joking around earlier." Immediately after, the old turtle closed his eyes to draw his soul out from his consciousness and explained further. "The suppression tower is an ancient relic of carnage. It requires one with immense destiny to wield it." Once the old turtle's soul was drawn out, it flew straight into Xiaoyan's command medallion. He didn't forget to add, how would this old man ever dare to covet it? His soul flew into an empty cell within the suppression tower. He imprisoned himself in the cell as a solemn promise to Xiaoyan. "I, this humble turtle, hereby imprison my own soul. From this day forward, I shall be at your beck and call." But Xiaoyan still made sure to give the old turtle a firm reminder. "You must truly stay by Xiaoyun's side and protect her. If anything suspicious happens, you'll face the 10,000 thunder soul devouring." The old turtle replied sincerely, "Yes, prison master." Once Xiaoyun's protection was secured, Xiaoyan started thinking about the next step of the plan. Xiaoyun's safety was finally guaranteed for what's to come. While Xiaoyan was deep in thought about his next move, deep inside the zoo's forest, loud noises erupted along with thick billowing smoke. That dense cloud of smoke quickly drifted toward the turtle habitat. Xiaoyan swiftly climbed a nearby tree to scout the situation. After getting a bird's-eye view from the branches, Xiaoyan was faced with a scene where mutated wild beasts were running around in a total panic. The sound of thundering hooves mixed with the roar of a tiger with a striking coat. Other animals like rhinos, wolves, and deer also dashed past in pure chaos. Among the crowd was a small, non-mutated squirrel, desperately trying to find a way to escape. Xiaoyan, after watching the herd move in a massive pack, immediately had some bold ideas. It's rare to see so many animals that haven't been corrupted yet. I'll watch for a bit, then pull them into the tower. Once he finished scouting, Xiaoyan didn't overthink it, and dropped straight down to the lakeshore in the turtle area. Keeping his earlier promise to the old turtle, Xiaoyan collected every single turtle in the vicinity and placed them inside the suppression tower. Right then, inside the suppression tower, a whole army of turtles began to appear from that lake. Seeing this, the old turtle was deeply grateful. "Many thanks, prison master." With everything wrapped up, Xiaoyan scooped up Xiaoyun to quickly get her to a different location. "Xiaoyun, I'm taking you to find somewhere safe." He carried his little sister, leaping from one branch to another in search of a new shelter. While they were mid-flight, a familiar voice cried out in a panicked tone, calling his name Xiaoyan. "Xiaoyan." Hearing his name, Xiaoyan turned back to check. It turned out that right in front of him were Yalan and her mother. Both of them looked like a total mess now, shivering in a pond at the turtle garden. Yalan couldn't wait and screamed, "Xiaoyan, it's me!" But looking the way she did, ragged and filthy, she still hadn't stopped being delusional about her standing with Xiaoyan. She acted all innocent and said softly, "It's me, Yalan, the girlfriend you love the most." Seeing her show up like that, Xiaoyan was nothing but disgusted. He coldly asked her what she was doing there, but Yalan kept up the act despite her filthy and ragged state. She twisted her body and put a hand to her forehead. "Xiaoyan, stop being so petty. I know you still have a thing for me. You're just too proud to make the first move and make up with me. After all, I'm a total babe, right? Look, haven't I come to you now? Ever since we were apart. I bet you haven't been able to eat or sleep. I mean, I am a perfect woman after all." And as if she wasn't enough on her own, her mother shamelessly chimed in too. "That's right, Xiaoyan. Our Yalan has always liked you that much. Last time, didn't you say you wanted to come over and propose? I was just playing hard to get back then. I actually really like you." This was a classic case of a mother-in-law eyeing her son-in-law. The more she looked, the more she liked him. As for Yalan, she still thought Xiaoyan was in love with her and was just posing. "I can find it in my heart to forgive your rudeness toward me before. You must be so happy, right?" Honestly, Xiaoyan was completely speechless at the mother and daughter's audacity. He didn't want to waste another word on Yalan. He quickly turned and flew off, not forgetting to leave them with one last line. "You two are insane." Yalan stayed below, reaching out and screaming after him. "Don't go, Xiaoyan! Xiaoyan, get back here right now. Don't you love me anymore?" Xiaoyan was already far away, but she wouldn't stop shrieking, in the middle of a zoo full of mutated monsters. "I'm so beautiful. How could you treat me like this?" "Why?" The loud noise she made, drawing the attention of the mutated animals. They stared at the two of them with glowing red eyes, looking ready to eat them alive. The mutated beasts swiftly lunged toward the mother and daughter, right before being bitten. Yalan wouldn't stop screaming. "What do you think you're doing? Get lost, I'm the most beautiful woman alive. I'm going to be the queen. Every man must kneel at my feet." At that moment, the entire zoo echoed with the blood-curdling shrieks of Yalan and her mother. Meanwhile, over here, Xiaoyan was leaping around to find a shelter that was safe for Xiaoyun. Along the way, if he spotted any animals that hadn't mutated yet, he'd simply collect them into the suppression tower. After scouring the zoo to gather animals, Xiaoyan finally went to find a new shelter for Xiaoyun. The different species are mostly collected now. First, I need to find a place to hunker down. The two siblings stopped in front of a large building. He read the sign hanging in front and surveyed the surroundings. "Zoo management office. Everyone in here is already cleared out." As Xiaoyan led Xiaoyun into the building, he quietly assessed the place. The zoo is in a remote suburb with a mountain at its back. For now, aside from these beasts, no strangers should be showing up. I'll have Xiaoyun stay here for the time being. To ensure his sister's safety, Xiaoyan proceeded to scan the area once more. The surveillance looks good. There's even a dorm and living supplies. Xiaoyun, seemingly reading her brother's mind, said, "Brother, it's actually pretty nice in here. I'll just stay here for now. You still have your own things to do, right? Hurry up and go. I can take good care of myself." Xiaoyan walked over, patted his sister's head, and asked again, "You won't be scared alone, will you?" Xiaoyun answered firmly to put his mind at ease. "How could I be alone? Don't I still have Nini? Besides, I'll always have your back. With the apocalypse here, I need to toughen up too." Xiaoyun settled Nini on her shoulder and continued, "I've already talked to Nini. He's going to teach me how to cultivate." She paused for a moment. Xiaoyun added, "Then I can finally be of some help to you." Hearing these words from his little sister, Xiaoyan felt much more at ease. With a warm smile and an affectionate look, he replied, That's my girl." Afterward, Xiaoyan turned his gaze toward the old turtle and called out, "Senior Gui," as if he was about to ask for a favor. Ni immediately smiled back and replied, "No need to be so polite. Prison master, I know exactly what needs to be done." As soon as he finished speaking, his eyes suddenly turned into a brilliant, glowing gold. Dazzling light radiated from his eyes, and instantly the entire zoo management area was encased in a vibrant green turtle shell barrier. The protective shield wrapped around the entire building, leaving not a single gap. In the distance, glowing red eyes were staring fixedly at the building. The mutated animals immediately charged at the facility, but they couldn't break through the shield of the turtle Ni. Xiaoyan did a quick sweep of the outside to check the security of the protection layer. Seeing the mutated beasts retreat, he gave it a thumbs up. This should be fine for the time being. Once he had secured his sister's safety, Xiaoyan decided to head out again, leaving Xiaoyun behind, who called out, "You have to stay safe out there. I'll wait for you." Xiaoyan dashed straight out of the zoo, speeding along the mountain ridges to move fast. Down on the road below, the scene was absolute carnage. There were massive pileups of cars, and mutated humans were scattered here and there. The apocalypse had just begun, but it was already a total nightmare. The streets were littered with abandoned cars, severely trashed, with chassis full of scratches from wrecks and claw marks along this ghost town road. There are still mutated humans prowling for prey, relentlessly tearing each other apart. Ignoring the chaotic scene below, Xiaoyan continued to head, straight ahead running at full speed. A blood-red moon hung in the sky, and all around him, dark specks filled the air. Even though he was sprinting fast, it still wasn't enough for Xiaoyan. Time is running out. I have to pick up the pace. Entering the city, the scenery was bone-chillingly desolate. Once bustling streets had become a battlefield of smoke fire and the living dead. Fires of all sizes broke out, choking the air with thick black smoke. The survivors were hauling ass to find any shelter they could, to escape the monsters surrounding them. Some, exhausted and unable to keep running, were instantly swarmed and mauled. Zombies were now everywhere in the city. People hid inside shops to avoid the clutches of those monsters, while the unlucky ones were ripped apart by a mob. On the news, they were reporting the current state of the city. A sudden car accident occurred in the city center. The scene is in total chaos. The number of people in hospital, emergency rooms has spiked. Most patients are suspected of food poisoning, with bluish skin, bloodshot eyes, and persistent high fever. The National Health Commission is actively organizing rescue efforts. Experts urge everyone to stay indoors. With abnormal weather and a major storm approaching, citizens are advised to stockpile food, clean water, and essential medicines. Please trust in our nation's strength. Let's join hands to overcome this difficult time. The scene shifts to Shiren's home. She had just woken up from a nap on the sofa and was sitting there listening to the news. After listening to the news broadcast on TV, Shiren was a bit confused. What on earth was actually going on? Then Shiren grabbed her phone to fact-check the news. She just heard, "Why did it sound like the end of the world?" Looking at the screen, she suddenly snapped her sleepy eyes wide open. The internet was now flooded with clips capturing scenes of people transforming. Zombies, they're zombies. I saw a zombie eating someone with my own eyes. She clicked to read the comments on that clip. Someone said the plot is great, but the next person clarified it's for real. My coworker felt sick today. Went to the hospital and saw someone turn and bite people. Ren kept checking other social media platforms for the latest updates. As soon as she opened an app, she was hit with a truly bizarre image. She tapped to read the post's description. I know some people will say I'm capping, but I swear on my life, this is the raw footage. I'm an astronomy buff, always taking photos of the moon. And here is my time-lapse. But out of nowhere I caught the image of a strange creature. The scary part is that over time, I can see this creature getting closer and closer. That means it's heading straight for us. This post attracted quite a few comments. The top one was, "Is the apocalypse here? Monsters descending? This is just great. I've been feeling off all day, my body's heating up. I also feel super thirsty. A high fever, could this be a sign of turning into a zombie? Then go take some medicine. Pop some pills and you'll be fine." After reading the comments describing the symptoms of that strange mutation, Shiren put her hand to her forehead. Strange. Why do I also feel like I'm burning up? She lay down and looked up, staring at her own hand. Then she noticed that her hand was slowly turning a deathly purple. Seeing such a strange state of her body made Ren started to panic. What the? Fainting. Do I have a cold or something? She sat up and reached for the medicine bottle on the table. Take the medicine, she muttered while searching. Shiren opened the bag of meds, pulled out the Shang-Ching pills, and grabbed a random bottle. Before taking them, a memory of Xiaoyan flashed through her mind, reminding her, remember to use the Shang-Ching pills. Then she realized that earlier, she had ended up buying a ton of them, holding just one bottle. It seemed Shiren couldn't hold on much longer. Her eyelids felt heavy as lead. Everything in front of her began to blur, and her vision faded into a hazy mess. Shirin's entire body was shaking uncontrollably. Using her last bit of consciousness, she quickly popped a tablet of the Shangqing pills into her mouth and forced it down. As soon as she took the pill, she passed out cold on the sofa. Cutting back to Xiaoyan, it looked like he had finally reached his destination. He looked out at the scene before him, the pitch-black night, with a blood-red moon looming over a skyscraper. A moment later, Xiaoyan checked the time on his phone. 5 o'clock, still an hour left. In his past life, at the stroke of midnight, a great god had descended directly upon Emerald City. But starting from 6 p.m. that day, smaller deities had been appearing continuously. Xiaoyan closed his eyes, recalling his previous life. If I remember correctly, the first deity to manifest was right on top of this emperor building. When that deity landed, it caused massive destruction, launching direct attacks on all the surrounding buildings. It was from that exact moment that people truly spiraled into a panic. While thinking, Xiaoyan sat down. If I can hunt it down and harvest a massive amount of souls, I'll become way more powerful. As soon as he sat down, Xiaoyan entered a state of power cultivation. His command token suddenly began to glow and floated up right in front of his chest, enveloped in swirling flames. The command token before him transformed into a small lotus flower, radiating light and absorbing the surrounding spiritual energy for Xiaoyan's cultivation. Streams of spiritual energy were drawn into his red lotus, fire eyes upgrading his power. Once finished, Xiaoyan snapped awake and suddenly bolted his eyes open. He was incredibly surprised and thrilled with the achievement. He had just reached his ability had peaked at level 3. What's more, the red lotus fire has a new mutation. I'll have to find a chance to test it out. Next, a status board of his profile and abilities appeared. Xiaoyan level 3. Ability, 100%. Level 3. Soul power, 100%. Ability, purple, red lotus fire. Can break through barriers and nullify magic. Controls flames that incinerate the soul. Diamond bones enhanced defense. Can withstand extreme heat and high pressure. Grows tougher with more tempering and training. Xiaoyan looked at his hands coursing with power and said with unrestrained excitement, by refining the energy ores and the old turtle's bones, my ability has instantly reached the peak of level 3. I didn't expect the hell turtle's soul to give such a massive boost to my spiritual power. Then Xiaoyan hopped onto the building's ledge, concentrating all his strength into his right arm. The purple red lotus fire and the surrounding energy all converged into his fist. Xiaoyan gave a mysterious smirk. Above Xiaoyan's head, the shadow of a strange creature appeared within the red moon, growing larger and more distinct by the second. Suddenly, the sound of a door opening came from behind him. Click-clack! The door burst open, and a group of people emerged. They were the building's security guards. The manager pointed toward Xiaoyan, questioning him and ordering the guards to seize him. Hey, you over there, who gave you permission to be up here? This is the private area of the Emperor building. It's not a place where just anyone can come up. It's not for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Arrest him immediately. Hearing the order, the guards instantly rushed forward. Yes, sir. A guy standing behind the manager asked. Manager, the elevators are all locked down. How on earth did he get up here? The manager immediately gave the employee a punch to the nose, causing him immense pain. Damn it, still making excuses. So many people called in sick today. You've all learned how to be lazy bums, haven't you? Your entire salary for this month is docked. After getting punched nearly hard enough to break his nose, he could only run to do his job, not forgetting to say, I'm sorry. The manager looked at the guards' backs and muttered with contempt, God damn it, lowlifes. Are only good for doing stuff like this. Even though the guards were competing to charge at Xiaoyan, he didn't pay them any attention. He just looked up at the giant shadow from earlier. It's here. In the space before everyone, the red moon was obstructed by a small crack, causing the guards to stop in their tracks, terrified. What the hell is that? The crack on the moon grew wider and wider. Rumbling sounds began to echo from within. Out here, the noise became increasingly clear, making the guards extremely anxious. What is that thing? The manager also noticed the sound and the fracture in the sky. He rubbed his eyes and cried out, I'm seeing things. From that crack, 2 hands suddenly appeared, gripping both sides of the moon, as if trying to tear it apart to escape, rumble. And then a bizarre creature emerged into the sky, surrounded by a glowing red aura of energy. It opened its mouth wide, revealing sharp teeth, and screamed incessantly. The strange creature began to descend slowly toward humanity, its body a fusion of man and beast. In its hand it held a razor-sharp axe that emitted a destructive light. Xiaoyan stood below, waiting for its appearance, without a single hint of fear. A massive body with bulging muscles, resembling a powerful bull, slams into the ground with terrifying force, causing the building to crack, as debris flies in every direction. This strange creature is a soldier-rank Niugi, The moment it touches down, it lets out a world-shaking roar, making the very air vibrate violently. Its blood-red eyes seem to pierce through everything. The manager, watching from afar, falls flat on his back the second he sees the Nyugi. He lets out a piercing scream. "Whoa, I'm a monster!" The manager's shriek immediately grabs the Nyugi's attention. The bearded man yells out in a panic, "What the hell are you guys doing? Protect me now." He still hasn't grasped the gravity of the situation, continuing to threaten them with being fired. "Listen, I'll give you a raise, a big raise." Before he can finish his sentence, the savage beast sends him straight to the afterlife. The rest of the group is paralyzed with fear. They scream in terror as they bolt away. "Run, run for your lives!" With its glowing red eyes, the monster charges toward them. Even running on 2 legs, its speed far exceeds that of any normal human. It laughs mockingly, which translates to so many insects. "All of you just drop dead for me." Xia Yan remains calm, standing in its path. He doesn't seem fazed at all. The monster lunges furiously at the spot where he stands, but when the dust cloud settles, it sees absolutely nothing. Xia Yan has already deflected its strike. He even taunts it, "Is that all you've got? You really thought you could squash me?" He channels his power and says playfully, "Guess I'll use you for some light practice." The bull is so enraged it loses all self-control. It demands, you can understand what I'm saying." Xia Yan blocks its massive leg with just one hand. He draws a golden sword and tosses the creature aside. Xia Yan leaps high into the air, forcing it to look up. He lands back on the ground. Everyone is left in a state of utter confusion, witnessing his reckless actions. "Oh my God, what is that guy doing? Is this for real? He's a beast?" Who knows? He might actually be able to kill that monster. But the monster seemed to only get more excited. I volunteered to lead the charge, thinking I'd only get to kill these boring insects. I didn't expect to have this much fun. I'm going to savor the feeling of tearing you apart. With a sharp gaze and a superior tone, it sneered. "Be grateful to me, you mighty little bug." Xia Yan didn't care. He kept a firm grip on his sword, locked in combat with the beast. Suddenly, the monster realized something was wrong. Xia Yan gave a cold laugh. "Slicing off one of your legs is quite a rush. You've got plenty of legs to spare, don't you?" He lunged toward it again. "Now how about I take an arm?" The monster opened its maw wide, showing rows of sharp fangs, intending to swallow him whole. But Xia Yan was much faster. He dodged to the side instantly. He even made a taunting hand gesture. The monster's eyes flared with rage as it let out a thunderous roar. It even spat fire from its eyes toward him. Xia Yan gripped his sword and charged head-on. The spectators were all left stunned. Xia Yan successfully severed one of its arms, just as he said he would. His landing was undeniably badass. The monster was now officially triggered. Its eyes burned with pure fury. Sizzle. "What do you think you're doing?" "You bastard," he smirked dismissively. "I suggest you relax. It'll make this whole thing easier. After all, you still have 5 legs and 1 arm left. Don't you let me have a little fun first? Besides, it's not like you're going to die that quickly." But the monster didn't understand a word he said. Xia Yan continued his relentless sword assault. He hacked away at it piece by piece. The monster was still in disbelief. "What is this? I waited so long for the wall to break. I haven't even killed any of these bugs yet." By the time it realized the truth, it was far too late. Xia Yan had already diced it into tiny pieces. It can only howl in helplessness. "Why did I end up like this?" Xia Yan is completely unscathed, not a single scratch on him. He turns around with a light smirk. "You're a bit weaker than I imagined. But this is only the first one." He sits down and breathes a sigh of relief. "The divine monsters coming after this will only keep getting stronger." He pats its head. He advises, "Just hand over your soul power yourself. Let's end this quickly. Or do you really want to keep being tortured?" It stubbornly roars back. "A soldier can be killed but never humiliated. I will resist until the very end." Suddenly, numerous iron chains appear behind Xia Yan. Countless monsters are staring him down. The monster slowly closes its eyes. A loud noise erupts which startles Xia Yan himself. He is surprised to see the monster turn into a trail of blue smoke and fly toward that tower. Xia Yan mutters under his breath. "Damn, I've been beating it for half the day, and it still wouldn't submit." But one look at the demon suppression array, and it's scared to death instantly. His soul power has reached level 3 5%. He smiles happily. An increase of about 5%? Not too shabby. My control over the fire is getting much smoother too. He stands up and realizes it's already past 7 o'clock. How many spots left in my next destination? I only vaguely remember the direction. Guess I'll just have to wing it. The people from earlier finally run back over. "Excuse me, Great Master." "You're incredible. You actually killed that monster." "Master, we're so sorry for offending you earlier. Also, could we please ask exactly what is going on?" Xia Yan doesn't waste words. He just leaves them with one sentence before walking away. "The apocalypse is here. Better start praying for yourselves. leaving him shocked and terrified, pleading, "Master, please, take us with you." "Great master?" He leaps down, ignoring the man's desperate cries for help. They begin to spiral into a panic once again. Is this really happening? What the hell do we do now? Young man scrambles to pick something up. He looks absolutely ecstatic. "I can sell this for a fortune, holy shit. This is actual loot from that monster." He continues to laugh like a maniac. Everyone stares at him, completely baffled. Someone asks, what's wrong with him? Has he lost his mind? The monster's remains had already dissolved into a pale green liquid. A person warns, "Watch out." He adds, "Maybe you should go wash that off first." The man from before suddenly has a strange reaction. He screams frantically. The bulging veins on his face look terrifying. The crowd panics, scrambling to get away from him. He's gone crazy. Chaos erupts everywhere. Help, he's lost it. He's killing people. A massive rumbling sound echoes in another location. Inside the underground shelter of the Song family villa, someone reports in a panic, "Master Song, another person has come down with a high fever." Hearing this, Song Tian doesn't show a hint of alarm. He replies indifferently, "Put them in isolation." "Do I really need to teach you that?" the man says loudly. "But the one with the fever this time is..." He mentions a name that catches Song Tian off guard. "Shijun." His indifference vanishes instantly. He rushes off with the messenger to check the situation. All around him, the air is filled with blood-curdling screams. "Save me! It hurts so much." Song Shijun, his face covered in blood, sees Song Tian. He calls out weakly, "Father, save me." Song Tian yells urgently, "Medicine! Where's the medicine that can treat this?" "You still haven't found it yet." A subordinate replies hesitantly. "One disciple, and took 2 Shangqing pills he had with him. The fever went down a little, but he's still not fully recovered." Hearing that, he hurriedly barked out orders. "What are you waiting for? Bring it here immediately." The man complied. "Yes, Master Song." The medicine was brought. He shouted at the top of his lungs, "Son, take the medicine." Shijun crawled toward the pile of medicine. His hands trembled as he forced the pills into his mouth. Song Tian watched everything from the outside with intense anxiety. Once the medicine was down, Shijun looked like a fish back in water. He let out a huge sigh of relief. I feel much better now." Song Tian was overjoyed seeing his recovery. "Who knew it would be this effective? Go find more Shangqing pills immediately." The subordinate reported in a panic, "We can't find any more Shangqing pills. In the entire Song family, this was the only box we had." Song Tian blew his top. "Why is there only this much? Didn't I tell you guys to stockpile medicine long ago?" The man explained, "This pill only treats basic cases, like fever and the common cold. There are plenty of other alternatives, commonly available on the market. Moreover, it's significantly more expensive than other brands, so nobody ever really paid attention to it before." Hearing that, he immediately issued an order. "Then go out and seize it. We have the firepower. We have the guns and ammo." The subordinate continued, "But every single Shangqing pill on the market was already bought out by someone named Zia Yan." Song Tian gnashed his teeth in fury. "Xiaoyan, that same Xiaoyan. God damn it. He scammed us out of all that money. And now it turns out he bought up all the Shangqing pills too. My apologies, sir, but it's definitely him. It's pure chaos outside right now. Our usual black market channels are completely offline. Master, what should we do?" Song Tian was so livid he could barely breathe. He muttered to himself, "This is too much. This is just crossing the line." He frowned. That man has powers to protect himself. How can we possibly stand against him now? Is the Song family really going to go down like this? Mid-conversation, a thunderous boom erupted, blasting the doors right off their hinges. Song Tian was stunned. Shijun stepped out from inside, radiating power. Shijun was pumped up. "This feels amazing. It's like all the toxins in my body had been completely flushed out." He casually threw a punch at the wall next to him, shattering it to pieces. "I feel incredibly strong right now." Song Tian asked hesitantly. "Shijun, don't tell me you've..." He replied confidently, "Father, I'm great. I even have an ability now." "Is this what it feels like to be overflowing with power?" Song Tian was skeptical. "The Shangqing pill is that miraculous? To get sick, take the medicine, and then awaken an ability?" He was ecstatic. "Excellent. Fantastic. Have those showing symptoms take the medicine first, then keep a close watch on them. Monitor them until their abilities manifest. These 3 boxes should be enough to create 3 new awakeners." He continued, "After that, gather everyone to head out. We're going to seize Zia Yan's pharmaceutical stockpile." He thought ambitiously. "Once the Song family, it holds the life and death of these awakeners in our hands. How could we not rule as kings elsewhere?" Shirin woke up under her blankets with a headache. She squinted and thought, "I can't believe those pills actually worked. All those symptoms and the malaise have completely vanished." Suddenly, she noticed something bizarre. Shirin couldn't believe it and rubbed her eyes. "Huh! Wait, what?" She wondered if she was seeing things, while, lost in thought, there was a frantic pounding on her door. A loud voice cried out, "Sister Bai, it's me. Open up, please save me. Help me." Shirin rushed to the door. "Junner, what's going on?" Junner screamed, "Sister Bai, don't you know? Zombies, there are zombies. Several. Households on our floor have turned into walking dead. They're running around killing everyone right now." She continued frantically. "Those attacked by the zombies will also turn into zombies. My floor is a total bloodbath. Please, you have to save me." Shirin was completely bewildered. "What zombies?" She heard the sound of the door chain rattling. "What the?" Shirin wondered why the door wouldn't open. Loud guttural screams erupted from outside, terrifying Junner to her core. She screamed, "Sister Bai, open the door, save me!" Junner watched the horde of zombies closing in. She shrieked in terror, "Help me, ah!" Shirin tried to calm her down. "Sooner, don't panic, hurry." She stared at the zombies, paralyzed with fear. Shirin yelled, "Got it, get in here, quick!" But at that moment, Shirin suddenly noticed something. Junner had a visible scratch on her body from a zombie. Shirin gasped in horror, "Junner, you're hurt." Junner gave a cold, faint smile. "So you found out?" Shirin was more panicked than ever. "You just said that being injured by a zombie means you'll turn into one too." Junner's expression turned sinister. She growled, "I won't. As long as I take the Shangqing pill, I can be saved." "That's what everyone online is saying. Sister Bai, do you have any Shangqing pills at your place?" Shirin was trembling all over from fear. Suddenly, dozens of decaying zombie hands reached through the doorway into the house. Witnessing this nightmare, Shirin could only stare in wide-eyed shock. Junner sneered. "Too late now." She straight up shoved Shirin into the pack of zombies outside. "So why don't you be a dear and buy me some time? My beautiful, kind-hearted big sister." Shirin pounded on the door in a panic. "Junner, what are you doing?" "Open the door, let me in." Junner whispered, "What am I doing?" Her face twisted into a mask of pure malice. "By Shirin, do you have any idea how much I loathe you? What gives you the right to come from a better family than mine? What gives you the right to be born into a life of luxury, with enough spare cash to charitably support me, a poor country girl like me?" "Oh, thank you so much for the years of support. Paying for my school, my food, my clothes, even finding me a job, treating me just like a little sister. But do you have any idea how much I hate you? I just wanted to be like everyone else, to buy a designer bag, and you lectured me for it. I owe you, don't I? I've lived my whole life in your shadow, don't you get it?" Shirin watched as the zombies closed in. She struggled to understand. Why would you even think that? I only ever tried to help. Was I wrong to care? Junner frowned and spat out bitter words. "Helping me was your duty. Besides, didn't you get a huge ego boost from being my savior? Now just drop dead." That bitch Junner held the door shut tight. She added venomously, "Like this. Being eaten alive by zombies piece by piece is honestly too good for you. I hope when the zombies are done, there's some of your shredded flesh left on the floor, so I can stomp on it for a thrill." As soon as she finished, her wound flared up. Junner shook violently from the agonizing pain. She panicked. No, I have to find the Shangqing pill fast, or I'll turn into one of those ugly things too." She began ransacking the house for it. "The pill box, where's the damn box?" Junner suddenly spotted one. "This is it, Shangqing pill." She laughed with joy. "Yes, I'm saved." But then she realized it was empty. "Where's the medicine? Where is it? Don't tell me that bitch took it all already." Junner tried to reassure herself. The receipt said she bought a whole bunch. "Good, keep looking. I'm going to make it. I have to." Junner searched everywhere like a maniac, but she found absolutely nothing. Furious, she began smashing everything in sight. Why can't I find it?" Her body couldn't hold out any longer. The transformation had already begun. Junner let out a pained, bestial roar. Suddenly a phone started ringing. TikTok ringtone playing. She was completely stunned. "That's the special ringtone I set for Bai Shirin. How is this even possible?" It was indeed Shirin calling. Drenched in sweat, she scrambled to answer the phone. The person on the other end was indeed Shirin. She stammered in shock. "Sister, you're not dead. How is that possible?" Shirin didn't say a word. She just silently held up a handful of Shangqing pills to the camera. Junner shrieked in desperation, "The Shangqing pills! You have all the Shangqing pills?" Shirin tilted her head and asked coldly, "Do you want them?" Junner's body had truly reached its breaking point. She pleaded frantically, "Sister Bai, I just had a momentary lapse in judgment. I was bitten by a zombie. I was so scared my head was spinning. I didn't know what I was doing. Sister, where are you? Can I come find you? You'll give me the Shangqing pills, right? If you're still mad, I'll bow to you. I'll literally beg for your forgiveness." She dropped to the floor and began kowtowing. "If you're still angry, I'll keep bowing. I'm begging you. You're a good person. Please forgive me, just forgive me." But in her head, she was thinking, Bai Shirin is such a pushover. If I just beg, she won't have the heart to say no. Once I take that pill, I'm coming for you. Chiron cut her off bluntly, cut the act. You're making me sick, sister. Did you really think I'd fall for your trap again? Seeing the game was up, Shuner dropped the facade. She snarled, you. Bai Shirin narrowed her eyes. Liu Shuner, it's such a pity. I used to think you were just immature. Like a child. Who lacked the right guidance. A bit spoiled and reckless. That's why I kept helping you, treated you like family. I never imagined you'd give me such a grand gift in return. Chiron sat in a dark corner of the room. She continued, when the apocalypse hits, how many people will be just like you? Hiding behind a fake mask of humanity, only to reveal a true nature. That's more terrifying than any man-eating monster. But Shuner kept begging, Sister Bai, save me, please, I was wrong. A tear rolled down Chiron's cheek, but her voice remained firm. I'm no saint. Go to hell and repent. Shuner had now completely turned. Even on the verge of death, she was still muttering, I don't want to. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Then she let out a blood-curdling scream. Chiron stood there, lost in thought. She flashed back to the moment. Back then, the zombies were about to tear into her. She had been paralyzed with pure terror, and yet she had managed to escape. Chiron recalled how Liu Shuner had just shoved her out the door. She thought she was a goner for sure, but then something happened. Just as she was screaming in panic, in the blink of an eye, she realized something unbelievable. Her body had turned completely transparent. Seizing the chance, Chiron bolted. Gotta run now. She ran as if her life depended on it. She finally reached the stairs. Chiron stopped to catch her breath, sighing in relief. She realized that although she didn't know why, her body could turn invisible to the zombies, rendering her unseen. She could feel something else. The energy inside her body was draining rapidly. Aware of the ticking clock, she hurried to get away from that spot. I can't keep this state up for long. She sprinted outside. I need to get out of here fast. Chiron ran blindly. She reached a large ancient tree and leaned against it, gasping for air. Chiron noticed her invisibility had worn off. The sounds surrounding her were terrifying. She panicked, breaking into a cold sweat. What do I do now? While she was panicking, she heard a voice, Teacher Bai. Chiron recognized Uncle Chen. Mrs. Wang, is everyone okay? Mrs. Wang reassured her, don't worry. None of us are infected. We were just walking through the complex. Saw the message at the residents' group chat. So we all hid here. Chiron asked in confusion. Group chat. She finally checked her messages. Help. There are zombies in Building 20. Someone help me. She worried that everyone. Uncle Chen frowned. So many people are trapped inside the building, and most of them are already dead. We tried calling the cops, but nobody's picking up on the other end. What a nightmare, a young man sobbed. I can't get a hold of my parents. They just got here a few days ago. Who would have thought we'd run into this kind of mess? Mrs. Wang clutched her stomach in distress. What do we do if this keeps up? Sooner or later, we're toast. Chiron thought anxiously, is everywhere under siege now? Suddenly, she sensed something off. Chiron yelled out, watch out, zombies behind you. Uncle Chen and Mrs. Wang recoiled in terror. The zombies seemed to have some lingering consciousness. They howled, home! I want to go home! Open up, open the door now. Is this guard blind? I'm going to file a complaint against you. The security guard froze, not knowing what to do. Then Uncle Chen roared, run! A zombie continued to threaten him. You won't open up. I'm the director here. The young guard fell back in terror. The director! Chiron shouted. Get up. Go to the security room and grab the taser. By the time the guard snapped to it, the zombies had broken in. Right. He rushed into the security room. The zombies were right on his heels. Luckily, the guard managed to grab the taser and knock the zombie back. Step aside, director. Even as it died, the zombie was still mumbling about home. Watching this, Chiron breathed a secret sigh of relief. That was way too close. The guard gave her a slight smile and a thumbs up. But then a heavy swarm of footsteps approached. Judging by the hulking size of these zombies, both Chiron and the guard began to tremble. Terrified, Mrs. Wang clung to Uncle Chen. As the zombies flooded in like a storm, Chiron screamed, run! But she had to skidding to a halt as more zombies appeared ahead. The four of them gasped, we're surrounded! It's over! Suddenly something appeared in the sky. It was a bizarre-looking demon-faced spider. It descended, tearing through the hazy smog. They couldn't even handle the zombies. How could they possibly face a mutated beast? Chiron pulled everyone back. The power gap between her and this monster was simply too vast. It's spreading webs everywhere. All this prey belongs to me. Chiron was bound by the webs, unable to move an inch. Mrs. Wang was in the same boat. Help, let me go. The monster seemed to be gloating. Its web network was incredibly vast. Taking in the scene, Chiron analyzed the situation. Is it marking its territory? What on earth is this creature? Why did it just drop from the sky? The even worse thought was, could there be even more of them up there? Recalling what Zia Yuan had said, Chiron thought, the apocalypse is here. It's really the end of the world. Did he know something all along? What do I do now? The spider monster lunged straight at her. Meanwhile, Jia Yuan looked down at the swarm of zombies below. Jia Yuan pondered, I didn't expect this. To run into this while searching for the second god. Right as they descended, this is a star crane variant. Only high-level zombies carry these. Absorbing it can give a slight boost to one's powers. He grinned slightly as he watched the wave of zombies below. Jia Yuan remarked, the zombies are already evolving. A man who had been secretly filming Jia Yuan suddenly jumped out. Boss you're finally here. Thank you for saving us. What kind of magic was that just now? That was totally epic. I've been live streaming the whole thing. From the moment you showed up to your heroic stance. The stream has over 10,000 viewers now. Before he could finish, Jia Yuan attacked him. He screamed in rage, what the hell are you doing? One of his hands was charred black. Jia Yuan scanned the surroundings. It seemed quite a few people had already caught on. Everything here had been looted. Heading deeper inside, he saw it. The warehouse only had a few crates of canned food left. Sodas, instant noodles, and some daily essentials. Even though it wasn't much, it was still a decent haul. He stored everything into his spatial storage. Jia Yuan strolled out casually. That group of people was still there. Big boss, please could you help us out? Feeling a bit of pity, he tossed them a few packs of instant noodles. Take care of yourselves. They were delighted. Instant noodles, thank you, thank you. The group sat back down. I feel alive again. Who exactly is that guy anyway? He's so impressive. Lucky for us we met him. He's a real stand-up guy. Otherwise we'd be toast by now. But one guy wasn't vibing with that at all. Psh, good guy, my foot. He grumbled angrily to himself. He took everything for himself. Can't you guys see it? He only gave us a few packs of noodles. What are we dogs to him? Another disagreed, but he did save us. He remained stubborn. Did we even beg him to save us? Besides, if it wasn't for him breaking my phone, my live stream would have smashed a record of 100,000 viewers. He gnashed his teeth. I could have gone totally viral. Damn it, we were all inside this supermarket. Shouldn't the goods be split equally? How long is this little bit of stuff supposed to last us? He basically wants us dead. This guy kept going. He's only just a little stronger than me, that's it. Who cares about having abilities? There are already a few people with abilities online. What makes him think I can't have them too? He shouted out loud. If I had abilities, I would definitely be a hero. I'd distribute supplies to everyone. I'd save people. A guy like him is just too selfish. The other two started to get gaslit by him. It's true he saved us, but why not help all the way? And just give us all the supplies? Another added. Maybe. This disaster was actually brought upon us by those ability users. They only care about becoming powerful themselves and leave absolutely no way for normal folks like us to survive. That's way too overbearing. The least he could do is tell us how to get powers, so we can actually protect ourselves, right? There was only one person left who actually had a brain. He spoke up his mind. Wait, what are you guys even talking about? He just saved our lives, and yet you... The other guy snapped back. Look at you sucking up to him, just because he tossed you a pack of noodles. You're already rushing to defend him. Even if you tried to be his lapdog, he probably wouldn't even want you. Are we wrong, though? With great power comes great responsibility. He should be saving us, sharing resources with us, teaching us how to get powers and protecting us, too. After all, we're the vulnerable ones here. That's what real fairness looks like. Shijun suddenly appeared. Fairness, huh? You've got quite the imagination, kid. Were you the one live streaming just now? Which way did the guy you were filming go? Turning around, the guy was scared out of his wits. How about you tell us a little something? In an instant, that group was beaten to a pulp by Shijun's men. The guy hurriedly cried out, "Stop, don't hit me! Haven't I already told you everything? He went to the right, you guys should go chase him. Why are you still beating me?" Shijun picked up a pack of noodles. You tell me why. He finally realized what was happening. Is it because of those noodles? I'll give them to you, take them all? Take everything. Shijun didn't do what he expected. He sneered, too bad, wrong guess. He tossed the empty noodle wrapper aside. Then his lackeys dragged a zombie over. Bring it here! The guy was now paralyzed with fear. What are you doing? What do you want from me? Shijun gave a cold smile, just running a little experiment. Two men pinned him down while Shijun let the zombie bite him. The zombie had just taken a bite out of him. Shijun smirked. Don't be nervous. You are currently sacrificing yourself for the cause of human victory. Following that was his blood-curdling scream. The others were also absolutely terrified. Meanwhile, the lackeys were laughing with joy. Damn, it's so strong, it's already devoured all the guts. The zombie's eyes had turned a glowing bright red. Shijun said delightedly, it worked. He took the crystal core from the zombie's head. Just as I thought. Zombies, as long as they eat enough people, can condense these crystal cores. He crushed the crystal core in his hand. I can feel the power surging through my body. Shijun continued with satisfaction. Just like the one I absorbed before, my ability has leveled up. I can feel it. Just a little more, and I can break through this bottleneck to become even stronger. The subordinates chimed in, young clan leader. We already have 4 ability users now. If you get even stronger, won't we be able to totally floor that guy Jia Yen and give him a beatdown? Not to mention, we're the ones who know how to harvest energy crystals. Shijun loved hearing things like that. Right now, the priority is to kill Jia Yuan and steal his Shangqing pills. There are quite a few level 2 zombies in the city. Let's head out now. Kill any level 2s we see to grab their cores. As for those losers, just finish them off. The subordinates immediately obeyed. Yes, sir. The group cowered together. No, stay back, help. But those men didn't hesitate for a second. They instantly logged them out of life. Only then did the group finally speak up. You guys are ability users too. They finally realized the truth. It turns out that in the eyes of ability users, we are worth less than farm animals. The guy who had been the most rational earlier mocked them. The ability user who saved us before is already gone. The other guy was still being a hardhead. Damn it, if he hadn't left, we wouldn't be about to die right now. He screamed out, "It's all his fault!" All his fault, making the bearded uncle next to him completely fed up with him too. Before he could even scream, he was sent to meet Yama. Shijun grumbled, God, shut the hell up. Let's go. Right then, a red streak appeared in the sky. Shijun saw a building collapsing over there. He hopped in the car. Jia Yuan was also heading in that direction. The car immediately took off. On Jia Yuan's side, he was indeed chasing the red streak. He discovered something. Jia Yuan charged straight toward it. He touched down. The distance was about 2,000 meters. With his current speed, he'd arrive in no time. He braked hard. It's right inside here. His eyes widened at the sight before him. It was a giant demon-faced spider. It had spun webs everywhere. It was about to strike Uncle Chen. Sister Wang screamed in terror, Uncle Chen! Shirin tried her best to break free, but she realized she couldn't escape this spider silk. What do I do? What should I do now? Suddenly, Shirin remembered her ability invisibility. That's right. She struggled to move, thinking, oh no, this isn't working. My energy was completely drained before. I can't do it now. What am I going to do? She panicked as she saw the life-saving situation unfold. Help! Bai Shirin frowned and asked herself. Think, Bai Shirin, think. How did you get this kind of power in the first place? Write the Shangqing pill. She steeled her resolve. There was no other choice. Nothing to lose now, it's a Hail Mary? Shirin quickly pulled a Shangqing pill from her pocket. She swallowed the pill. Turn invisible, please turn invisible. As expected, it actually worked. Shirin became invisible. The monster seemed to notice too. It immediately stopped its movement. It saw that Shirin was no longer there. The monster looked around but couldn't see anything at all. It turned its head back around. Taking advantage of that moment, Jia Yuan managed to save Sister Wang. He set Sister Wang down and drew his sword. He told her to go while he stayed to fight the monster. He frowned and thought to himself, fire has a certain level of resistance against it. The monster was drooling. It was absolutely revolting. So delicious, it's mine. It lunged toward Jia Yuan, but it flinched when it couldn't see a thing. With practiced skill, Jia Yuan drove his sword straight into its head. Flames erupted on top of the monster's head. Taking the chance, Jia Yuan torched that entire damn spider web. The monster still couldn't figure out why. Its webs had suddenly caught fire. It screeched, "Come out, my children!" Jia Yuan realized the situation was going south. Could it be? A swarm of red spiders crawled out from the right. It was the same on the left side. The spiderlings had completely surrounded Jia Yuan. Over near Shijun's group, more spiderlings appeared. They were relentlessly slaughtering innocent people. Along the way, his lackeys were hyped to see the crystal essence. Found another crystal essence, our luck is on fire, Shijun smirked. Just 7 or 8 more of these, and I can level up. As time passed, the level 2 zombies had evolved quite a bit. One guy shouted, "Young clan leader, look over there!" Seeing the spider webs, they guessed it was the spider's nest. He continued, "This place has been turned into a literal furnace. Someone's inside, it's definitely Jia Yuan's fire." Another person asked, "Should we go in or what?" They spotted the spider and yelled, "Heads up, spiders." The spider noticed them too. Another guy immediately opened fire. Eagle Eye! Enraged, the spider spat webbing toward them. Shijun's group immediately fell into a panic under its attack. Seeing that the guy thought, that's nasty, he realized something. This fluid contains the aura of crystal essence. Shockingly, he actually dared to taste it. Even if the energy is low, it definitely has a kick. Kill a few more, and absorb them. It's just as good as zombie crystals. Suddenly, a massive explosion went off, catching everyone's attention. Jia Yuan was battling that monster, The others saw him and started buzzing. It's Xia Yuan. But what's the deal with that giant spider? That's terrifying. Looks like if we just kill that giant spider, the rewards we'll get will definitely flex on anything from the zombies. Xia Yuan is definitely here for this monster. The guy in the red bandana asked, young clan leader, what's the move now? Shijun continued, just let him draw the monster's aggro. He revealed his plan. We take the chance to kill the spiderlings and absorb their energy. By the time he and that spider have torn each other apart, our power will have already spiked. Then we'll just swoop in and take the loot. The spider and Xia Yuan were still locked in a death match. Xia Yuan swung his flaming sword toward it. Blazing sparks lunged toward the spider. Xia Yuan rushed in as well. He slashed straight at its head. The entire surroundings glowed bright red, not just from the spider, but from the color of the flames. He swung his fire sword, clearing the area. The spider took the hit and shrieked, so painful, damn you! Xia Yuan scoffed, you want to use your spiderlings to wear me down? Let's see if you can pop them out faster, and then I can wipe them out. With that, he sliced through hundreds of spiders in an instant. Standing from a high vantage point, Xia Yuan finally spotted Song Shijun. They were tearing through the spiderlings, just as he had intended. But one after another, they were all greedily consuming the spiders. Shijun didn't hesitate to drink that disgusting stuff. This feels great, I'm getting stronger again. He chugged spider blood repeatedly. Xia Yuan assessed the situation. Did he become an ability user too? In his past life, Song Shijun had a talent for cooking, but he stole Xia Yuan's Great Hung Prison token, becoming the prison master. He was hyped up by everyone. This time it seems he's pulled through again. The guy in the red bandana said excitedly, young master, right now just one punch from you can kill a small spider. That's equivalent to 100 pounds of force. With us on your side, Xia Yuan is toast. Hearing that, Shijun replied confidently, bring it on. We continue the hunt. Once Xia Yuan is on his last legs, I'll step on his face myself. He gave a cold smirk and said truthfully, even though the energy in these monsters is low, it's freaking addictive. So this is what it feels like to be OP. Xia Yuan jumped down, looking down his nose at the group. That's honestly revolting. Can't believe you'd actually eat spiders. Your stomach is even stronger than a zombie's. Shijun and the others looked up at him. Xia Yuan, how the hell? The guy in the bandana realized he ran over here. Then where's that monster? Xia Yuan asked mockingly. Were you looking for it? He gave a derisive laugh and turned to leave. Well, if you like eating spiders that much, go ahead and have some more. Only thing is, it looks like Mama Spider isn't too happy. You guys should probably try your best to apologize. Immediately, the giant spider arrived at the group's location. Its eyes glared at the group with pure rage. The men's mouths were stained green with spider blood. Their wide-eyed, shocked expressions looked almost comical. The giant spider opened its maw and shrieked, tear them apart! Damn it! Green Hair shouted. Get back! Xia Yuan had completely flipped the script. Now he was the one spectating their fight. He really locked in that aggro, didn't he? They truly have such punchable faces. Masterclass trolls. Shijun glared at him with pure venom. Keep acting tough, Xia Yuan. I'm an ability user now, too. I'm going to kill you, Xia Yuan scoffed. Impressive, very impressive. Oh, right. There's one thing I wanted to tell you. Xia Yuan shouted out loud. I'll deal with this first. Try to hang in there. We'll catch up in a bit. Shijun lost his cool completely. He gritted his teeth. How dare you look down on me? His subordinate yelled. Young clan leader, I am almost out of ammo. Maybe we should retreat for now. Shijun glared. No retreating. Xia Yuan must die. Kill Xia Yuan. The man beside him panicked. Young clan leader. Shijun's expression terrified even his own followers. What's wrong with him? He's inflating like a balloon. Shijun lunged straight at a spider. He just bit its head off. He began laughing hysterically like a total psycho. I'm getting stronger again. I'm becoming even more powerful. His lackey saw something was off. He immediately tried to stop him. Young clan leader? But he was barked at to shut up. Stop talking trash. He continued slaughtering the spiderlings. All these spiderlings are my food. I can become even stronger. I want to crush Xia Yuan under my feet. He tossed the spider carcass aside. Shijun looked a bit unhinged. Do you see this? This is my power. It just keeps growing and growing. If you ever mention retreating again, or stand in the way of my progress, you know exactly what the consequences will be. The man didn't dare say another word. Yes, young clan leader. We will hunt more spiders for you. You will definitely be able to kill Xia Yuan. As for everything happening down there, Xia Yuan couldn't care less. He was too busy battling the giant spider. Xia Yuan frowned and muttered, I didn't expect it to be this tough. Xia Yuan watched it intently. Oh! The spider glared at him furiously and crawled along its webbing, then lunged toward Xia Yuan. It leaped up and blanketed the entire area with its silk. Xia Yuan tried his best to dodge its attacks. He was struggling against the thick webbing. The spider had actually managed to turn Jia Yuan into a silk cocoon. It thought the fight was over. "Let me feast on you, you'll be delicious." But Jia Yuan incinerated all of its webbing. He mocked it. "You really have a death wish, don't you? To think you'd actually dare to get this close to me." The spider hissed, not understanding his words. Jia Yuan had broken free from its trap. "Stop!" The spider shrieked in agony, thrashing as it burned. "No!" The flames erupted violently, lighting up the entire area. The light glowed a fierce, fiery red. Jia Yuan said coldly, "You refused the path to heaven, and now there's no room for you in hell either." When nothing but ashes remained, Jia Yuan managed to retrieve a strange object. "Is this soul power?" The spider suddenly appeared behind him. "You fell for it." A voice called out, warning him to watch his back. Jia Yuan's reflexes were lightning fast. He grabbed it. "Impossible. How can you be this strong? I have to report this." Before it could finish its sentence, he crushed its soul to pieces. Now that Jia Yuan had finished off the spider, he felt a great surge of power within his body. His ability had leveled up to level 4. Jia Yuan suddenly noticed something. "Wait, this is the pupil of fire insight." His eyes widened. "It's so hot." He spotted a small flame. "Is this?" He realized this was the core of the red lotus flame. "That's where I am." The scenery was truly breathtaking. Jia Yuan closed his eyes. "So that's the monster over there. It looks like my new skill. It allows me to directly observe heat signatures, powerful abilities within a certain range, in the vicinity. It lets me locate monsters and high-level masters. So this is what Pupil of Fire Insight actually means. What a useful ability." He heard voices by the road, and only then did Jia Yuan pay attention. He remembered her. She was Xiao Yun's teacher. "I'm guessing her ability is invisibility." He suddenly felt something behind him. It turned out to be that psycho Shijun. He screamed manically, "Die! Everyone just die! Bring it on! Bring it on!" Shijun yelled, "I've become strong." So this is what a level 2 ability feels like. This power is so energetic. He kept babbling like a madman. So that's it. This type of ability is divided into 9 levels. This is a God-given power. Once I reach level 9, I will become a god. Just you wait and see. At that moment, I'll have finally stepped onto the starting line of the path to godhood. While rambling on, he spotted Jia Yuan. Shijun screamed, "Xia Yuan, you've never been able to touch me. And it's no different this time. I'm already level 2. What do you have to go against me?" Then he lunged at Jia Yuan. His eyes turned bloodshot with excitement. "Kneel down and lick my feet." While Shijun was busy with his power trip fantasies, Jia Yuan punched him into next week. Shijun was sent flying dozens of yards away. He was straight up traumatized. Shijun gasped in terror. He refused to accept reality. "No way, this is impossible. I've reached level 2, how the hell can you still hit me?" Jia Yuan raised an eyebrow and asked, "Then why don't you take a guess at what level I am? I don't mind telling you, if your family hadn't given me so much money, I wouldn't have been able to rank up this fast. You really are my best bro." He mumbled to himself, "No way, no way. That's right, I can still get stronger." Shijun lost control to the point where he began devouring the small spiders. "I can still get stronger. I have to kill you," Jia Yuan sneered. He taunted Shijun. "You've always been a cautious person, but this time you were way too impatient." He finally turned his head and asked, "What the hell are you saying?" Xia Yuan continued, "If this were before, even if you knew that monster cores and zombies could enhance your abilities, you definitely would have found a guinea pig to test them first, to see if there were any side effects. Who would have thought that this time, just because you wanted to kill me, you'd completely disregard everything and shove that disgusting thing straight into your mouth? Truly admirable." Shijun barked, "Side effects? What kind of BS are you talking about? You're just trying to stop me from becoming powerful. Not gonna happen." "Shut up," he roared. "I am on the path to godhood. I am an ability user, the chosen one. I must become stronger." Jia Yuan mocked him. "The path to godhood, really? Shouldn't you take a much closer look?" Looking into Shijun's eyes. He didn't believe a word he said. How beautiful. This is the true path to godhood. The path to absolute power. Am I right, Jia Yuan? You're just scared that I'll keep getting stronger. So you're talking all this crazy trash just to mess with my head. He threatened Jia Yuan, "You're done for. I'm getting stronger again." Shijun laughed like a total psychopath. As he prepared to attack Jia Yuan, he suddenly froze. Looking down at his feet, he saw countless ghosts staring back at him. They were screaming frantically, "Come down here, come down! Let us become one." Shijun watched in absolute horror. "Help me!" He was terrified beyond belief. "What is this?" Xia Yuan smirked and explained, "Zombie possession." "You've killed so many zombies, can't you tell?" Shijun refused to accept the truth, muttering to himself, "But why I'm an ability user, why me?" Xia Yuan rested his chin on his hand and said, "You absorbed too much energy from zombies and mutated creatures all at once, just like that. It's only natural your body can't digest it right. In my past life, quite a few ability users who overabsorbed energy ended up turning into zombies themselves. However, it's not like there isn't a cure. Hearing this, Shujun swallowed his pride. He begged for his life. Help me. What's the cure? Xiaoyuan whispered into Shujun's ear. The cure is the Shangqing pill. Shujun was instantly stunned. Xiaoyuan explained in detail. If you had ranked up slowly and absorbed energy gradually, you could have suppressed the feral nature of the cores from both the zombies and the mutants. But you ate too many, so you've got a bad case of indigestion. The Shangqing pill clears heat and detoxifies, soothing the energy and clearing the heart. Looking at your symptoms, taking 1 or 2 pills should help suppress it. Then you can slowly hone your skills, practice properly to resolve the crisis, and keep ranking up. Stepping onto that path to godhood you mentioned won't just be a dream anymore. Hearing this, his tears started flowing. I'm begging you. Shijun groveled, pleading with Xiaoyuan. It's me. I was wrong, I messed up. Please save me. I'll be your slave, I'll do anything, I swear to God. Xiaoyuan gave a thin smile. About what you just said. Shujun, what's our relationship anyway? We're best bros, aren't we? A glimmer of hope rose within Shujun, but that hope was instantly snuffed out. Xiaoyuan delivered a brutal kick to his body. He coughed up blood. And so, Xiaoyuan mocked him, you'd better just hurry up and die. He frowned and said, it was one thing when you insulted me, but you dared to lay a hand on my sister. I let you slide once before. Not only were you ungrateful, but you also came looking for a death sentence. He started walking away. Honestly, not even the gods could save you now. But Shijun stubbornly clung to his leg. The Shangqing pill? He gently pulled it out. You mean this? Xiaoyuan teased him. How could 1 box ever be enough? Shijun was stunned by his words. Xiaoyuan said bluntly, this is at least a ton of Shangqing pills. If your family got their hands on these, then your ability users could rank up without any of the pain. Just think about how powerful your family would become. The mere thought of it is enough to make anyone daydream. But then he posed a hypothetical scenario. If you were still my best friend, knowing my personality, I wouldn't have hesitated, and to give all of this to you for free. Too bad, Shijun. He didn't even look back as he walked away. This is exactly what you deserve. Shijun lunged at him like a wild beast in a fit of rage. Xiaoyuan turned around. But before he could act, the guy was already taken care of. Shirin had stabbed him in the neck from behind. After finishing, she let out a sigh of relief. Xiaoyuan commented, I didn't realize you had such guts. Shirin asked softly, I'm sorry. I heard everything you guys said, that you used to be friends. She continued, I thought maybe you didn't want to kill him yourself, so I took the initiative to do it. She bowed her head. You warned me before. Thanks so much for helping me buy the Shangqing elixir. She gripped the weapon tightly in her hand, then pulled it out of Shijun. Shirin arrived just in the nick of time. She immediately took the spear in her hand and finished Shijun off, sending him straight to the afterlife. I saw people saying online that, after killing powerful zombies, crystal stones will drop out. Following what she learned online, Shirin then lifted her spear, causing blood to splatter everywhere. And at that moment, a crystal core appeared. So it really is in the brain. Right as expected. What the internet community says is spot on, no doubt about it. She leaned down and picked it up. Found it. Shirin held the crystal core out in front of Xiaoyan. At this point, he wasn't really surprised. Song Shijun was a level 2 awakened. After turning into a zombie, there really was a crystal stone. However, since Shirin was the one who retrieved the crystal core, Xiaoyan wouldn't take it even if she offered it to him. It belongs to you. Seeing Xiaoyan let her have it, Shirin felt very grateful. She used her hand to wipe the blood off her face. Thank you. She clutched the crystal core tightly until it radiated a source of energy for her to absorb. So this is how you absorb it. In just a split second, the crystal core unleashed its power. Very quickly, Shirin felt a surging source of energy flowing through her body. Her depleted energy was fully restored, and it even increased significantly. But you have to watch out for your own endurance limits. Otherwise, there's a good chance you'll turn into a monster, just like him. Xiaoyan, after witnessing the absolute fire performance by Shirin, also gave her a compliment. Your ability is actually pretty cool. It looks like invisibility, but you're actually vanishing. If used well, your chances of surviving the apocalypse are very high. Try your best to stay alive. Yes, sir. However, Shirin still had something she wanted to discuss with him, so she called out to him from behind. Xiaoyun's brother. Your name is Xiaoyan, right? I want to make a deal with you. He asked again to be sure, a deal. Shirin's eyes widened as she looked at the giant spider up ahead. That big spider over there, you're here to kill it, aren't you? With her sharp observation skills, Ren also figured that, if I'm not mistaken as time goes by, monsters like these will appear more and more frequently, and you need to hunt them to increase your own abilities. Hearing this, Jiayan couldn't help but respect her a little. You're quite the observant one. She also recognized the disadvantage of Xiaoyan's current situation. But after all, you're just one person. It's impossible for you to kill all those monsters alone. Sensing that Xiaoyan seemed short-handed, she put her hand on her chest and volunteered, on the spot. I can help you. Xiaoyan didn't expect Shi Ren to make such a decision, so he was a bit taken aback. You're going to help me kill monsters? It seemed Shi Ren really wanted this gig as she immediately listed her skills to convince him. Gathering intel, scavenging for resources, even acting as bait, and most importantly, hunting monsters. Give me a chance. I'll prove my worth. Hearing her say all that, Jiayan pressed her further. What exactly is it that you want? Shirin didn't hesitate, and immediately expressed her burning desire. I want to get stronger and then I want to survive. Feeling like she might have been a bit too blunt at this moment, Shirin awkwardly clutched her shirt and glanced away. If you find me a nuisance, I can... Seeing that she seemed sincere and full of fire, Xiaoyan decided to give Shirin a chance. In that case, I'll go to Xuanhe Hospital. Kill the monsters occupying that place and bring the loot back for you. Can you take on this test? After earning his trust, Ren didn't hesitate any longer and got straight to work. Got it. Then I'll head out now. But before she completely left, Xiaoyan had a few words for Shirin. I have to remind you, those monsters and that spider are equally powerful. Even though that was the reality, she would still bravely face it to the end. If I can't even kill it, then how much longer can I even survive? In this apocalypse, I'll find a way. After that, Shiren grabbed her spear and walked boldly in the opposite direction from Xiaoyan. Witnessing her extremely confident vibe, Xiaoyan was highly satisfied. He then created a flow of aura to follow and observed Shiren. She's actually got some guts. That blue aura now enveloped Shiren's entire body. This was Xiaoyan's way of standing by her side. Even though he wasn't physically there, the hexagonal eye of fire. Through it, he could monitor Shiren's journey. Now, everything is under my control. If she really pulls it off, I wouldn't mind having another companion. He then let out an intrigued smirk. No time to waste. First, I have to put out this fire. But at the same time, at Song Tian's private residence, a shocking event was unfolding, leaving the furniture in a total mess. Song Tian, after hearing the tragic news of his son's passing, was heartbroken, crying a river of tears. Shijun, my son. While his body was shaking uncontrollably from the pain, his henchman just had to add fuel to the fire. That Xiaoyan guy is way too strong, young master, because he ate too many monsters. His body was unstable. That's how Xiaoyan played him and found an opening. Sir, I heard Xiaoyan has a younger sister. We've already tracked down her location. While his mind was spiraling with rage over this, upon hearing that, Song Tian's face instantly changed color. He barked back, what did you say? He was hell-bent on avenging his son, so he gave them an order right then and there. What are you waiting for? Xiaoyan killed my son, so I'm going to kill his sister. Besides, she must have plenty of Shangqing elixirs on her. In order to avenge Shujun and seize the Shangqing elixirs, they set off quickly to hunt down Xiaoyun. You guys come with me to grab her and snatch the elixirs. They immediately piled into the cars and left in a convoy. Looks like she's about to be in deep trouble with Song Tian, because even though Xiaoyan is incredibly powerful, his sister is just an ordinary person. He's currently still in the city area. It's not like he can split himself in two, right? Now they are all rolling out together, determined to make Xiaoyan pay no matter what. Xiaoyun still has no idea that danger is lurking. As she sits at home watching the news, terrorist attacks are occurring in multiple areas. Hearing this shocking news, she couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pity and fear. An infectious disease is spreading, urging everyone to stay indoors and wait for rescue. According to experts, this infectious disease is linked to nuclear waste. Water discharge. Citizens may use Shangqing elixir to alleviate the symptoms. City police forces have been paralyzed. National high-level officials have deployed emergency plans, mobilizing special forces. What do you guys think you're doing? Looking out the window, with the sky glowing bright red and a blood moon hanging high above, Xiaoyun couldn't help but feel anxious about the future that lay ahead of her. Outside, the sky suddenly opened up, with a torrential downpour and crashing thunder, as if the heavens were unleashing their fury upon the world. The sky was blood red, and every drop of rain falling from above felt like a rain of blood, evoking the tragic images of the victims from the past few days. Xiaoyun, now all alone in her room, could only hug herself and silently pray for Xiaoyun's safety. My big brother will be okay, right? Luckily, at that very moment, she still had Ni by her side to comfort her. Don't worry. With the prison master's current power, very few could actually hurt him. You, on the other hand, little Yoon, have you decided which ability you want to learn? Inside her room, a magic circle suddenly materialized, emitting a noble golden light, as if trying to wash away the filth outside. This old turtle has 3 talismans here, each containing a path of immortal legacy. She made up her mind right then. All right, let's talk about the abilities. Xia Yun curled up, gazing into the distance with a pensive look. After a moment of deep thought, she finally understood what she needed and wanted most. I've thought it through. Xia Yun then chose an ability for herself, the art of Qi Huang. This will help my brother the most. Seeing that Xia Yun had made her own decision, Ni was overjoyed. A healer's heart, little Yun. You truly are a kind-hearted child. Good. Then let's begin. The room suddenly lit up with pillars of brilliant golden light, filled with mysterious floating characters. Xia Yun stood there at the very heart of the ritual. A chaotic space, awash in blinding gold and swirling flames. Ancient scriptures and sacred artifacts swirled around her as she radiated a steadfast power. The elder also reminded her to maintain her core, to calm her mind and focus her spirit. But this knowledge will only unlock gradually, as you continue to grow. Remember, don't be too greedy. Take it all in one step at a time. After hearing Ni's advice, she replied, I understand. Feeling that the right time had finally come, the elder decided to reveal the truth. This Qi Huang talisman legacy of mine comes from that great being. Before he left, he told me to leave this for one destined to find it. Xia Yun now sat properly within the magic circle, concentrating all of her focus on her internal energy source. Since even I have never studied this art, I wonder how much little Yun can actually grasp on her first try. However, out of the blue, Nini sensed a murderous aura from afar. Someone's here. The rain outside was pouring down, and Song Tian had arrived right in front of Xia Yun's house. He didn't want to get his hands dirty just yet, so he gave the order to those 3. Shouren Ying Yan Kuang Lei, you 3 go and take her down first. But this attack had been meticulously planned by Song Tian. He even had shooters from the Song clan prepared as backup. You guys launch a frontal assault. They were incredibly cocky about their overwhelming numbers. They even trash-talked, saying, our master brought so many men, plus 3 ability users. Catching one little girl will definitely be a walk in the park. Song Tian was currently fuming at Xia Yan, determined to make him feel what real pain is like. Xia Yan, I'm gonna tear you limb from limb as an offering to my son. Without a second thought, or wasting any more time, he immediately ordered the others to jump into action. Kill! One of them threw his whole weight against the door to smash it wide open. This kind of door won't even last against one of my punches. But surprise, surprise, looks like this old man's got some serious tricks up his sleeve. The door seemed fragile, yet it left a bunch of them aching all over. Damn, my shoulder hurts. Seeing their failure, another guy rushed forward like a beast to break down the door. Ignoring the warnings Hai Gong knew, and another man, watch and learn, you losers. Both slammed their bodies into the door at the exact same time. But it was a lot of effort for 0 results. No matter what they tried, the door wouldn't budge. Instead, they were sent flying back several feet. They acted all tough, but now they're curled up on the ground, shivering like leaves in the wind. It hurts so much. No way. With our strength, we could smash through a 1,000-pound iron gate. What the hell is this door made of? Still, they weren't allowed to give up there. They had to get the job done no matter what. You useless trash, what are you waiting for? Yes, sir, I'll get it open right away. Realizing the main door was a tough nut to crack, they shifted their focus to the windows. If we can't break the door, break the windows, smash them. Then they pulled out guns and other weapons, determined to storm the house by any means. However, the harder they tried, the more things went south. Their hands began to tremble as they reached their limit. What is this tempered glass? Everyone, every single one of them, started to lose their cool when they couldn't leave a single scratch on the house. What kind of tempered glass is this, damn it? This is just a small house in a zoo. It's not like it's the White House. This isn't working. How about we use explosives? The master is already pissed off. If at first you don't succeed, try another plan. They quickly brought out explosives to blow the place sky high. All right, these are high-grade explosives. They could blast open a bank's gold vault. Talk about using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. They didn't just plant one. They covered the door in explosives to maximize the blast power. Are they really going to bring down the whole building? Wait, isn't that girl gonna lose her life? Serves her right for messing with the Song family. Once everything was set, they all hauled ass out of there. Then one of them triggered the detonator. 3, 2, 1, boom! But no matter how much they tried to level the place, the house only seemed to become more reinforced. A magical dome now completely shielded the entire building. What the? The soldiers were absolutely stunned, completely shook by how tanky the house was. You mean it's not damaged at all? Staring at the mysterious blue dome in front of them, they couldn't help but wonder, what on earth is this thing? But while they were still trying to wrap their heads around it, the sound of a superpower being activated echoed from behind. Seeing how they were acting like total noobs and couldn't handle the situation, Kwang Lei stepped up to finish the job himself. I've had enough. What's taking so damn long just to open a door? I guess we have to carry this whole squad. It seemed like everything always fell on the shoulders of those three. With a few clean strikes and zero wasted motion, they successfully pierced through the protective dome. Making his move, Kwang Lei lived up to his name by furiously shattering the barrier and stepping inside. Stop playing monster and come out! While the soldiers before him were just flailing around, failing to even dent the door, he blew the door wide open with a single kick. Let me see what kind of pro is hiding in here. In Kwang Lei's hand, a surge of lightning energy formed ready to strike the enemy. Before my lightning bolts any monster, will be forced to show their true colors. The other two didn't follow him in but stayed outside, spilling the tea. Oh, this is gonna be lit! Lei is really triggered this time. That kid always had a short fuse, and since his awakening, he's the goat among us. No matter what preparations Ziayan made here to protect his little sister, I'm afraid there won't even be a corpse left of the enemy. Right at that moment from inside the house, an incredibly powerful surge of lightning erupted, lighting up the entire area. Seeing his power flashing everywhere, the two of them shared a smug, triumphant laugh. Looks like Kwang Lei's move was a success. However, something felt a little off. The space in front of them remained eerily silent and deserted. When normally, Kwang Lei should have emerged with Xiaoyun by now, right? They finally sensed that something was definitely fishy. This isn't right. I've got a bad feeling about this. Unable to sit still, the two of them decided to head inside. You guys stay here and protect the master. Shu Ren and Ying Yan immediately pulled out their heat. Let's the two of us go in and check it out. In stark contrast to the blinding light from before, the interior was now pitch black. It's too dark. With such poor lighting, they couldn't see a thing with the naked eye, so Ying Yan used his thermal infrared imaging to search for Xiaoyun. In just a split second, he had already tracked down her current location. Found her. She's on the upper floor. The next second, without a moment's hesitation, he drew his bow and aimed straight at Ziaoyun. At this range, there's no way you're getting away. But reality had other plans. Just as Ying Yan was about to let an arrow fly, Nai flew in out of nowhere and landed right on his face, throwing him completely off balance. Surprised by its sudden appearance, Ying Yan was more than a little confused. Where the hell did this little bastard come from? Refusing to let Ni distract him any further, Ying Yan used his hand to flick the old guy away. Are you kidding me? Trying to stop me from a kill? But then they started having a bit of an argument. Where did he go? It's a turtle. It's not a bastard. Immediately after, Shu Ren also rushed upstairs and was shocked, confronted with Ni's sudden appearance. Wait, this turtle can talk. I told you I'm not a turtle. But since they kept insisting on it, the old man decided to set them straight right then and there. Listen here, young men. Do not dare compare this old master to those ordinary pond dwellers. We are not on the same level. Don't let his small size fool you into thinking he's an easy target. Ni levitated into the air, radiating a mysterious magical glow. However, a second later, water burst forth from out of nowhere, surging like a massive flash flood. It swept everyone away, completely. The two of them saw the water crashing down on them like a waterfall, and totally panicked. What the hell is happening? If they thought that was enough to rattle them, they were about to be even more shook. As they witnessed the scene unfolding before their eyes, the person being washed away by the current was none other than Kwang Lei. If you're wondering why he didn't make it out sooner, well, it turns out Ni had absolutely wrecked him with zero misses. It was certainly a unique and surprisingly humane way for Ni to attack, but it still scared the living daylights out of them. This old master is a man of peace and tranquility. I have no desire to harm anyone. Despite Ni's tiny appearance, he carried an incredibly massive threat. To stop him from getting in their way, one of them barked out an order. Kill that little bastard right now! The next moment, with high-powered guns in hand, they unleashed a relentless hail of bullets, filling the air with thick smoke and deafening gunfire. Countless bullets, like a meteor shower, were all locked onto Ni. And obviously, the old master wasn't about to just sit there and take it. So he conjured a protective barrier. Except for the one who insulted me, whom I'll make an example of. This is no longer funny. Ni was done playing nice. The old man decided to teach them a lesson they'd never forget. Talk about a taste of their own medicine. The very bullets they had fired, they ricocheted and flew right back at them. Everyone was freaking out, scrambling to escape that horrific hail of bullets. It was a total epic fail of self-destruction. Damn it! Now the only one who could stop this was Shu Ren. He leaped into the air like a grasshopper, charging at breakneck speed toward the old man. Open up for me! But it's not going to be that easy to get past Gramps. Before he could even touch Ni, he was slammed back by the barrier in front of him. Ying Yan couldn't just stand by and watch anymore, so he decided to go big. Channeled all his salty rage into a flaming arrow and took aim right at the target. and the moment his arrow collided with the old master's barrier, it triggered an explosion, so massive and terrifying. It looked just like fireworks. Ni, who was inside, was also somewhat affected by that recent blast. When Shoren saw that the old guy had been hit, a smug grin spread across his face. He continued his charge while Yin Yan, extremely satisfied with his successful attack, decided to go for a second round. It's working. Let's keep going. But life isn't always a dream. They were still way too green for this. As they both looked up at the sky, they saw a sight that made their skin crawl. It wasn't over yet. Instead, that explosion seemed to have buffed Ni's power even further, making him grow massive and many times more formidable. Why did you have to go and do that?